Welcome everyone to another day of VCS action. We are in week 4, last day of the week. I'm Yulwei, as always, here with you, and I'm very happy to welcome back every day. How are you today?
A little bit better than I was yesterday, which is good to say. I was not feeling well at all yesterday. Sorry to abandon you, but I was
No
about to
problem.
have my head hit the keyboard.
Just very happy to
But
have
we
you
are
back.
back. I'm glad to be back. Coming in with a pretty fun series, I think, this first one. If we want to get into today's games,
Yeah,
Team
we have.
Flash versus Cerberus. That's going to be an interesting one. Well, interesting in might be a bit of fun.
Yeah, especially in terms of which players are playing. We just see the lineups right there, and Stark, the new top laner for Team Flash, will make his debut today here. Not his debut in terms of pro play, obviously he has been a long-standing member in the VCS or the Vietnamese scene even before the VCS started, but he is now with Team Flash and they have subbed out their struggling top laner Taurus for this veteran top laner, and they want to make the push for first place. And it starts today.
Yeah, I mean, it's very appropriate there. Someone named Stark coming in and should be the last gem in that Infinity Gauntlet. Because Flash, really the only role they were super struggling in was top. Taurus was struggling. He wasn't terrible, but he wasn't up to really the standard of the rest of Flash. With Stark coming in, that should shore up that one weakness. And where do you punish for Flash now? If you want to try and beat them.
Yeah, for everyone joining us for the first time, Cerberus, as you can see in the scoreline there, 1 win, 6 losses, and it's even worse than that. They've only won 2 single games the whole season. They have actually played the least amount of games because every series has been a 2-0. Most of the time, 6 times against them, 1 time in favor of them, so they've only played 14 games. On Flash side, there were a few 2-1s here and there. Overall, they are still sitting at first place with 5 and 2. If they win this one, that is, because right now there's obviously DBL 1 game ahead. They are at 6 and 2, but Flash has the opportunity to catch back up and overtake them in terms of game score.
Yeah, exactly. Important game here for Flash. Obviously, they are the heavy favourites coming in here. But it is important to pick up these gimme wins, and it's important to get the 2-0s because with the way the top of the table's looking, it does look like there's going to be a bit of a mess of teams potentially on the same or very similar scores. So having good game scores is actually really important.
Yeah, and we already saw 2 days ago, DBL stumbled over FTW, and that was not supposed to happen. DBL should sit at 7 and 1 now, but they lost against the worst team in the league, and now they are only sitting at 6 and 2, and Flash can overtake them today.
Precisely. That plays exactly into what I was saying. And then looking at the bans here, it's all pretty standard. Just a little bit of tier list banning. The LeBlanc is a little bit of a target ban to Yado. He has played that champion, not to a huge amount of success, but that's mostly because Cerberus hasn't had a huge amount of success. But he's looked decent on it. So I don't mind those bans, but it does leave that Lux open there for Ron P. Of course, everyone, as you can see on screen, we are playing on 913, so Lux still pretty busted.
Yep, and that was absolutely anticipated. That first pick was very obvious. We have CBL. Interesting that Flash does not prioritize the Lux for themselves. He has played Lux and Yumi most of everything. So usually we see Flash with a lot of bot lane focus. Now they give up the best support available, so that's a little bit surprising. Maybe they want to give Stark a very nice welcome, topside focused draft in this first game he's here with us on stage.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a pretty good idea as well. You know, get your new top laner's head straight into the game, and he will very likely be taking that Jace. Yijin picking up his Gragas. He's loved that champion. He's had a lot of very good performances on it. Cracking out the fat man. So I'm glad to see that. And possibly Aatrox being locked in here on the side of Cerberus. Gonna have to see if that should. Yep, it is locked in there. presumably going up to LL.
Yeah, I would not anticipate it seeing it going to the mid lane. I don't really see why they would do that. We have
Yep.
actually seen some Aatroxes be able to withstand the early laning prowess of the Jace and then overcome him in the later game. So I don't think the matchup is as bad as it previously was, with Jace nerfs coming in as well. Look at that, that's a bot lane.
Yep, that is Lux Caitlyn. Have fun down there, Slater. Have fun, CBL. Because it doesn't really matter what you pick now. You're going to have a pretty bad time.
Do you think Slater wants to challenge with Draven here?
I mean, it'd be ballsy. Like, if he's got, like, balls the size of planets, maybe. Tom Kent looking to be picked up there. Interesting pick into this. He's going to get absolutely smashed.
Yeah, they want to abandon their bot lane. This is really a topside focused draft already. There could be Yasuo coming in here as well, because they have picked up the Gragas as well. So just go super safe bot lane, maybe Varus, maybe Ashe for lane control as well, and then focus completely on top and mid lane.
Yeah, I'd really, really love to see the Ashe. That's a more recent adaptation. We've seen a lot globally, this like mage Ashe. It's been absolutely tearing it up, but haven't seen it at all in the VCS.
Oh, we have seen one game, right? I think we saw one game yesterday from Big
It
Core.
might have been after I left.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't remember.
possible.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
I
saw
don't know.
one mage Ashe game yesterday. I think you already left us there. The first one, and Big Core was the one to bring it out, which is not really a big surprise, because the DBL most of the time is the team that is that is fastest to adapt to global meta things.
Yep, absolutely.
Silas
So-
and Nico on the side of Flash banned out, and now I'd like to see an Ashe ban actually. I think Ashe can pretty much handshake the lane, even though it's Caitlyn Lux. So
Yeah, I would be happy to say that, but instead they do ban out that Ezreal, which I suppose can also handshake it to an extent.
no, but
Not as
Ezreal
much
will
as
get pushed in. I think Ashe is better
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I think Ashe was better there, but Slater has shown the Ezreal, so maybe it's just a little bit more leaning towards what they've said. I'd love to see Ashe locked in. It does look like he's looking towards Zaya. I'm not sure how I feel about this one.
This is a hard losing bot lane.
Yeah,
That's
this bot
not
lane's going to
what
be
Flash is normally playing around. I mean, they play against Cerberus here, so they should still win, but the bot lane will be a struggle in game.
Absolutely. It doesn't take a huge amount of skill to execute Caitlyn Lux. So even though it is Cerberus versus Flash, this should be a pretty heavily losing bot lane regardless.
Now
And
even
Jarvan
more dive
is
power
picked up.
coming in, so they might
Yeah,
even
this
look
is
for
dangerous.
early dives on the bot side.
Yep. And it looks like Zoe might be the last pick, and she is. So now, what do we have for the counter pick? CBL has picked himself the counter. Optimus, I should say.
Oh,
Kiana.
there we go.
Bang!
I thought we would
Locked her
see
in.
Yasuo actually, because I think Yasuo into Zoe is an okay matchup, and you have the Gragas already locked in for Yijin. Instead, it's another Kiana, and it's an Optimus of all people.
Yeah, pretty crazy. I think, just to comment, I think Yasuo is fantastic in the Zoe. Windwall gets so much value. But I'm pretty hyped to see Kiana. We haven't seen a huge amount of her in the VCS, nowhere near as much priority as we saw in other regions. But I am excited to see the Empress of the Elements come out, potentially looking for some one-shots.
Yeah, and the matchup against Zoe is a very intriguing one. Immediate thoughts, Zoe will probably absolutely stomp the lane in terms of CS and lane pressure, but there is skill pressure for Kiana, especially because Zoe doesn't really have any sufficient escape spell to avoid the ult burst, so maybe Optimus can look for a solo kill, but this should be a lane that Yado can control. And Flash has picked themselves into two losing lanes on the bottom side of the map. A little bit scary coming into game one.
Yeah, absolutely. But we could potentially see Kiana used to roam a little bit up to the top side. As we were saying, this is very much a top side focused draft. Like this bot lane from Slater and Tom Kent, if they don't die in lane or lose like more than 2 turret plays, that's a win. That's all that really matters.
Yeah, the
This is
Zaya
going to be
pick is
so
still
difficult.
very interesting to me, because Zaya into Lux is not a great matchup. She actually struggles a lot. Zaya Rakan can actually do something against Caitlyn Lux, I think. The Rakan is traditionally not the greatest support into Caitlyn, and into Lux is not great either, but they have a lot of burst, so at least they can trade. Zaya against Caitlyn is a 125 range difference, so Caitlyn can just stay behind her minions and shoot Zaya in the head. Not great,
Which
not
is
great.
pretty brutal. Yeah, absolutely. That's a very, very brutal situation. I mean, I'm going to have to see what is done about that. I wouldn't be surprised if they are just completely abandoned and we just try and see bullying on LL's Aatrox. With the Jace Gragas, that's a pretty potent two-man, potentially as well, with Optimus roaming up on that Kiana. She's pretty dangerous coming out of the river, like,
Absolutely.
just on the road.
Yeah, LL could be in big trouble this game. There are probably 3 or 4 people visiting his lane in the first, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes already, so might
That is a
be in a lot
harsh
of
stat
trouble
to
on the
put
top.
on screen.
Yeah.
That's such a harsh stat. Just the only stat we're gonna say is that you've died more than everyone else. I actually don't think Ron OP has been that bad. I think he's been one of the better
I
players
think
this
he has been
season.
a little bit better in the last 2 weeks. I think his first 2 weeks have been pretty atrocious.
Yeah,
But
that's
he's
true. There's a
slowly
bit of
stepped it
recency.
up more. Overall, the individual talent on Cerberus actually is not that bad. They are just very bad as a team. They have the longest game time, indicating that they actually don't get blown away in the early games a whole lot. Their game time is almost 34 minutes, so holding on for a long time, but they still lose the game, so they have to change something in the mid and late game setups.
Yeah, that's very much true. They need a much more stable game plan. And hopefully, I mean, you never know, right? This could be the week that the Cerberus coaches have finally gotten around the boys and figured something out. But against Flash, that's definitely a very high hill to climb to
Yeah, and they
really
didn't
dwell on
really
that.
look too great on, I think it was Friday, right? Against EVOS.
Yeah, that was, yeah, they didn't look great there at
And
all.
EVOS themselves didn't look too great, so that was not the greatest series we've ever watched. But Cerberus especially was kind of just there, rolled over and died, didn't really attempt to win the game. We really need to see more out of them, more aggressive setups, and I really like this change on the bot lane. Go for early push, go for a lot of impact early on in the game. Maybe you can snowball it to a victory here early on against Flash.
I've got to say, a little bit of aesthetic analysis coming in here. I do love it that Flash teased Stark coming back with an Avengers reference, obviously Tony Stark. First game back, they've picked him Jace, which is literally an Iron Man reference, with the Debonair skin. I'm loving it. Aesthetics are on point.
Yeah, Flash. Nicely done, Flash. Doing the
Yeah,
most
well done.
important part.
Exactly.
Winning.
You got to make sure you live up to your in-game name, right?
I mean, Team Flash is already a great name, right?
It is. It's a very
And their
good
logo
name.
looks very cool as well. I'm a fan of their aesthetics. Sorry, overall.
Yeah, I completely agree. I like Cerberus's logo as well. I like the three-headed.
I mean, it's a little bit unfortunate that Cerberus is the worst team, because imagine a Cerberus that's just very weak. It's not the most frightening thing ever to imagine. Losing
Puppy,
to
yeah.
Buffaloes and to, yeah, what else do we have here?
I mean, it's a shame because if they were good, we could just like constantly make jokes about them being the gatekeeper, right? But they're
Sadly, they are
rubbish.
not
So.
good right now. Maybe it can start today, because this is the second round robin starting for these two teams. They have played once already. Flash obviously won that one in a clean 2-0 fashion, was in week 1. And Cerberus is sitting at 1 and 6. Flavors are already gone, probably, so they are only fighting to keep themselves in the league.
Stark playing so aggressive.
He has a level advantage. I'm not sure what LL was doing there. You should
I'm
not
not
try
sure
to
either.
fight into the ranged matchup at level 1 against level 2. That's not a great thing to do.
It is a pretty bad decision, and we already see this bot lane just hammering down on Flash. Pushed in hard. And they had a slight CS lead. I can't actually see what the exact number is here because we are looking at Yado's stats.
They seem
Not the
to
worst.
always highlight bad stats here.
I mean, two KDA, considering how badly his team's getting beat, it's not terrible.
Yeah, and minus 5.5 CS at 15 or 10 doesn't really matter either. It's like half a wave, one wave, if you're harsh. So being one wave behind as a mid laner is not the worst thing ever to happen.
Yeah, it's obviously not good, but...
Yeah, but it's very matchup dependent as well. There are some very good mid laners that consistently fall behind because they roam a lot or they have bad matchups that want to scale. I would imagine Hiaya has pretty bad mid lane stats if you just look at the gold at 15 and the CS at 15.
Yeah. You'd probably hope he does, considering half the time he just plays Renekton.
Yeah, I mean, Renekton is still a strong champ, even in the mid lane, but...
Yeah, I know, but still, most mid laners should be able to get a little bit of a CS lead over Renekton, and most top lane champions. Ooh, hello, there's a bit of an all-in here in the mid lane. That's a real Ignite used. Optimus taken down quite low, but not finished.
And
Yado investing that Summoner spell.
Yeah, and he has the Ignite advantage now. This is actually very dangerous for Yado.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I like this gank from Pot here a lot, because he'll just help push out the wave, give Yado reset timing, because Yado now is in a lot of danger. His flash, I'm not sure if his flash is enough to get away from Qiyana. She roots him up with her water element, then follows up with the burst combo and ignite. Yado's probably dead.
Yeah, it does a lot of damage. Especially depending on, like, if he can hit the root sort of raw, if he can raw dog the root, then a flash isn't going to do much for you because you're just going to get E'd onto.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't remember that skill, unfortunately.
By the way, what do you think of the naming of the ult from Qiyana? Isn't that just made for casters?
You know what? I genuinely don't remember what it's called.
Supreme display of talent.
Oh, right. I hate Qiyana as a character. Can I just put that out there? How much I despise her. My god, do I hate her.
Oh, I absolutely love the name of the ultimate. You can make so many great jokes around the ultimate.
I didn't realize that was what it's called. That's brilliant. every missed Qiyana ult is truly a supreme display of skill.
Indeed. And a hit one as well, right? You can go either way on that.
Exactly.
It's like perfect
it
execution. I absolutely love perfect execution as well. Hitting or completely whiffing the Akali ult, and then it's being called perfect execution is just hilarious.
It's top tier. Absolutely. Hopefully we do see some real true displays of skill coming out of this counter, because I like seeing characters like this pop off. It's always fun to watch a good pop off game. Yijin coming in here onto Yado.
Oh no.
Could have potentially gone for something, but chose not to. He might be at a little bit of strife here, though. Here comes... Whoa! Yijin using that belly well. Denies the flag and drag. Still got to keep running, though. He's got some mates after him. His mid laner really doesn't want to come and help because of the health, but there we go. The ult is used. That really didn't do a huge amount, but the true display of skill comes out, gets that burst blood. Yado's going to go forward, hits the bubble. Oh, Optimus, you're in a lot of trouble now, and Yado's not going to get answered back onto, so it's a 1-for-1.
And both teams agreed on fighting early on in the mid lane, both supports roaming up as well. And now Yijin wants to extend the fight.
That was a quick little 1-for-1.
Yeah, and even Isilov wanted to have a little bit more there in the fight, wanted to get the kill for himself, even invested his teleport, which is a little bit of a waste. It was only a Tahm Kench. You were never killing a Tahm Kench with the Caitlyn Lux if the Tahm Kench is just 2 steps away from his own turret. A little bit overextended there, but now Ronopi off to a great start, 2-0 on the Lux. And Lux can be very dangerous. Lux from ahead as a support just provides so many shields.
Slater, I don't know if you want this one, man. Like, could potentially get a flash out of Ron, and there's no actual engaged there. That was a little bit risky from Slater, but he gets he gets the big advantage there. Getting that flash is really good.
Look at, sadly we don't see Yijin's great belly bob again. Look at Optimus here. Actually, as you said, the ult didn't really deal a whole lot of damage. A little bit surprising.
It missed.
No, it
The
didn't.
displacement.
I mean, it's
I mean,
stunned.
it didn't stun. Yeah, sorry. That's
Didn't
right.
stun?
No, I don't think so. I don't think he hit the wall. I think the way it happened, I might have to look at the replay again. I might be wrong, but this was a good play out of Yejin. I mean, sort of getting that 1-for-1. But oh, hello, this is live as in the mid lane we've got another brawl. Ron OP. Don't know if you needed to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you want to
Go
do that
AP,
as a Lux.
right?
You really want to do
Go
that.
AP. Just go Ludens. Like, why not?
I mean, yeah, no, he goes for AP items anyway with the Athenes and the Ardent Sensor. Hopefully, if this is another Lux going for early redemption, I will lose my mind, because that would be such a waste of the early gold.
Yeah, absolutely. Going redemption here would be pretty egregious. Has picked up the Moby boots. Unfortunately, isn't using Pajama Guardian, so it's not quite as funny as it could be. Here in the mid lane, we didn't actually see the start of this.
What
It
did
was
Optimus
just
do with his
getting hit
Q
by a
there?
bubble.
That was,
Yeah,
wow,
that-
Optimus just whiffed everything. Supreme display of a shit show, I don't know, a supreme display of something, but definitely not talent in that case.
Quick chat, that's where you type Supreme Display as skill, but with the Elegiggle emote between every word. Because that was pretty bad out of Optimus there. He just panicked.
Yeah, and so far our Cerberus has did a very good job at kind of messing with Flash's game plan, because we said in the Champ Select that the game plan was to focus on top side, maybe mid side a little bit, but most of the time focus on Stark's lane. And then the continuous fighting in the mid lane has actually completely thwarted the early approach to the game for Flash, and Stark is only even in CS in top lane.
Exactly, but it's also worth pointing out that in the bottom lane, this isn't that much of a lead. It's only 6 CS at the moment, which isn't too bad. 1 tower plating, and I mean, I think where it's suitable enough to say that against Caitlyn Lux, you only lost 1 tower plating at 10 minutes. You're doing all right,
Yeah,
especially if you're going mostly even in CS.
the first 10 minutes of this game have been a little bit different than we expected them to go, because top lane has been a complete island with a draft that said, or that spelled complete focus on Stark, but it has been not a single gank on the top side. And then bot lane has been way more even as well, because of the continuous roaming from Ron OP and even EasyLove joining in on the fights there.
Ooh, LL popping his ult here. He actually wants this.
He has
I
Flash.
don't know if he's going to be able to catch on to Stark. You don't go onto tower though, surely. Yeah. Fortunately, does sort of waste his ult a little bit there, but got a good trade. And his team secures an Ocean Drake, so Cerberus actually looking pretty good here in this early game. 1.3k gold lead, and I don't think they get, hard outscaled or anything.
Looking at their scaling.
It's pretty
I
even.
actually think it might be in favor of Cerberus. I don't like the ADC matchup. I think Slater on Desire is almost always superior in the late game compared to Caitlyn. Oh.
Ooh, Yejin's in a lot of trouble here. There's so many around. Oh, God, he's got absolutely no chance. Just has to try and buy time. Doesn't even really do that. That was bad. Yejin, not looking so good.
Yeah,
He's getting really shut down. So much reading on him out of pot.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to say the same. Pot absolutely tracking Yejin in this game and has his number. They secure another objective, and do they have the time to snowball this one into an early turret? It's still 2 minutes for the turret plating, so this should be more gold. And Stark, what are you doing?
Well, Stark has lost his mind a little bit here. If they want this kill, Cerberus can have it.
Stark's
You've got to
dead.
know that
Stark
pot
is
is
just
close.
dead.
This is really bad decision out of Stark. Understand? Come on, mate. That's not really good enough. Does at least force pot to flash.
Yeah, he flashed himself.
That's not a true display of skill. That was really bad, and Optimus is dead again. On this Kiana, Flash is getting massively outperformed.
Yeah, and both top and mid lane, as well as jungle. The only hope for them right now is the bot lane, as is tradition for Flash, because their bot lane is their best lane. Not the greatest debut for Flash in the top side for Stark. They wanted to play around him. They did not really accomplish anything in the early game.
No, they certainly did not. They've really done nothing, and this mid lane is really dire. It's a 30 CS advantage and a kill for the Zoe as well as those 2 assists. This is a really bad time for
Yeah,
Optimus.
I was wondering around Kiana on Optimus, because Optimus has been our control player, right? Look at this again. Optimus gets exhausted, very fortunate, and the supreme display of talent did not hit anything. I guess it hit the wall, but no one was close to the wall, so who cares?
Really
Yeah,
very
he
good.
does not look good on this pick. I want to see him back on his control champs. He has played Syndra 5 times. He's played Zillion, Lux, Ryze, Azir, Karma, stuff like that. So Diana really doesn't fit his pool, and so far the game has not looked great for him.
No, absolutely not. I mean, his Syndra was banned out, but the rest were completely open. So I'm not really sure why they picked this Kiana. Maybe it was just a read on that she's very strong, and this is pretty disastrous. Aatrox gets first turret in the top lane. That we've said it several times now. This was meant to be the focal point for Flash, and it has gone completely wrong.
Yeah, it's a 4k gold lead at 14 minutes for the team that usually falls behind more than 1.5k in the mid game. So a complete turnaround for Cerberus, and Flash looking very weak in this first game. That being said, we already saw a series for Flash this week where they looked atrocious in the first game and came back. But hold the thought.
Oh, no. Yado's in a lot of trouble here. They might be able to get one back. That was a good ult out of Kiana there, doing a good amount of damage onto Pot. He's in so much trouble, and now the cooldowns have come back. He's going to use the ult to try and buy a bit more time, but the double kill... What? Yijin? Really not sure what that stopwatch was.
He was very scared of the Lux damage. He forgot that is support Lux, in fact, and support Lux is maxing W.
He also stopwatched after the Lux ult. After he successfully dodged the Lux ult. I'm not sure what happened there. Was there an E?
Yeah, there was an E, but the E was not enough to kill him. Never, ever.
I didn't notice the E. To me, it looked like he was just stopwatching nothing. This was good by Yijin, sort of redeeming himself for a very bad early game. But in the end, this is a very needed gold injection for Flash, potentially bringing them back into this game.
And that last little interaction was very funny, with the Kiana utilizing the new terrain created by the enemy to actually activate her stone? Rock? What is this called? Rock element? Wall. Oh, sorry. Wall element.
Remember, it's wall, bush, and water. My favorite elements.
And if you have never seen the Kiana together with the J4 ult, there can be some very interesting interactions. Look, for example, at this circle the Gregor's Q created right now. If there's a J4 ult at that place, the Kiana ult will go the entire way up from the top side here to the Dragon Pit and include everything around the Dragon Pit. So there can be very, very big Kiana ults in this game, and Pot has to be very careful around his ultimate to not extend the terrain in favor of the enemy team.
Yeah, I mean, I still want to try and set up a custom game with a bunch of people, see how big a Kiana ult we could make if we get every terrain making champion in the game. I think that could be a lot of fun. But it actually is quite relevant with Jarvan sometimes, because Jarvan likes to ult in choke points, and so does Kiana. So that's actually relevant, not just an edge mechanic.
Yeah, there's some very interesting choke points. The one I just talked about. Then there's the connection between mid lane and the topside jungle. That could be an interesting sport as well.
Yep, absolutely. This is Cloud Drake being started up. I just want to point out, no Mountain Drake so far, but this fight is coming. We'll have to talk about that after. Ron OP will go down first. Went down to Yijin's barrel. Now Optimus coming back into the fight here from the front line has to try and help out Stark. He's in so much trouble. This has all gone wrong for Flash. Their teammates are just dying. Yijin's limping away on no health, but the Fat Man will fall. It's an ace. Flash flashed out of existence. This time it wasn't Tony Stark doing the flashing, doing the snapping, I should say. It was Cerberus snapped them out of existence, and we're going to see Cerberus win again.
Yeah, we most certainly are. 13-minute, 17-minute ace, I should say. That does not happen too often, even in the VCS, and Flash gets severely punished for their overly greedy attempt at Dragon. Their vision control was not sufficient, they did not spot the flank wards, and just got slaughtered there. Look at the gold lead, almost 7k at 18 minutes.
Yeah, this is brutal.
Look at Slater here. What
was
are
his
you
ult?
doing?
He lost his mind. That was a good Kiana ult there. Actually got the stun on Pot, which was good, but there's nothing Flash can do here.
Yeah, with Slater going down in the beginning of the fight, Optimus on the Kiana is not a DPS champ. He has a little bit of damage with his cooldowns coming up very frequently, but he's still not a DPS champ. Flash still wants to go for this Dragon, so... Wow, wow. Did you just see what spawned there?
Was it an Infernal?
Yeah, that was an Infernal.
Are we having a no Mountain Drake game?
We actually had 2 games yesterday without Mountain Drakes, but I thought it was hinging on the fact that you were not casting, but I guess that's not the case.
Nah, I know what it is. They're onto it. That's why our Reddit post got deleted. It's because we know. Riot spotted us. We were calling them out. Riot knew we called them out and said, "Oh, we've got to hide this, boys. They're onto the conspiracy."
Yeah, we have seen an insane amount of Mountain Drakes, to reiterate on this point, because maybe it sounded a little bit weird without context.
Yeah, exactly.
We had Mountain Drakes almost every game, and almost every game 3 Mountain Drakes. Sometimes even 3 straight Mountain Drakes and no other kind of dragon all game. So we're very surprised to not see Mountain Drake here in the VCS. Usually we at least see 2.
Exactly. I mean, look, Baron's finally happy. Maybe our change.org petition did finally work. Protect Baron. He's a happy worm this time. And I actually, speaking of Baron, in a bit more of a serious sense, I don't think he's going to be too bothered this game, because it looks like Cerberus is just going to win without him.
Yeah,
how do you stop it? Caitlyn Lux.
Yeah,
it's Caitlyn Lux. This is a little bit brutal.
That, so yeah, they really don't need Baron to end this game. They could still go for the Baron after securing this first inhibitor, but really don't have to.
Nope. Ooh, the bubble does land, but without the ult, there's not going to be any follow-up from the Zoe. Now they're just looking for this inhib here. The trap line is placed as well. One of the... Oh, Optimus. Goodbye.
Yeah, I think it's back to control mages for Optimus in the next game. Kiana experiment was interesting, but we don't need the Kiana here.
Just actually be game.
I think it's still a little bit too early. Yeah, no minion wave coming in for Cerberus, so no immediate opportunity to push this wave into the Nexus turrets. They can just go for the mid lane inhibitor now, and 5 men from Flash couldn't stop them pushing, so what are 3 men from a Flash supposed to do? Not a whole lot.
Yep, they're getting a little bit bailed out here by the minion waves not being in position. But overall, this is a very bad situation for Flash. Really hope we see them tighten themselves up in Game 2. I don't mind seeing that, like, as we've been saying, Optimus typically exclusively plays control mages. If you're playing against Cerberus, I actually don't mind him going, hey, I'm going to play an all-in champ and just see how I go, right? Experiment done, you've got the results, don't do it again.
Yep, Flash really needs to win the series, as we said on cast a little bit earlier. Losing to Cerberus would be unforgivable, especially with Gum playing later today. They could tie with Flash if Flash loses this game. And then Flash is on a tie with 3 teams instead of being tied with DBL for first place. That's not great for them.
Precisely. And part of the narrative with Gum is they've been an absolutely resurgent team. They had a little bit of a blip in that surge in their last series, which they did lose.
Against Flash, by the way.
But against Flash, exactly. But I mean, losing to another top team isn't the worst thing ever, even though we did expect them to win. But they started. Sorry, let me just rephrase. Gub started this split really, really poorly. They're trying to come back, and Flash needs to hold them off. And losing to Cerberus is basically just letting them in. Don't want to do that for obvious reasons.
And it's only game 1, right? Because we
Yeah, exactly.
have to speculate about this series, because Cerberus is looking good. Cerberus is looking really clean. I think Flash will come in with a very different pick-ban approach. We talked a lot about the Kiana on Optimus. I also think you need to secure yourself a stronger bot lane. Probably ban out at least one of the two components Cerberus used this game. Hopefully the Caitlyn.
I mean, I think you can pick Lux as well. Like,
Yeah.
you've got first pick next game, because
That's
the
very
sides
true.
will swap. So I don't necessarily like, Yijin, just a little bit too far out there, gets cut off, does manage to get the flash. Don't think that ult was necessary, but party barrel, everyone have a drink. Thankfully, it's not too long on cooldown.
Yeah, but yeah, we already see Flash can't really do anything here. They look for the
Ooh,
last ditch
good
effort,
ult
but
there out of Optimus, but it doesn't matter. Hot gets eaten up, but doesn't matter either. This is just the wallets are being used, the purse is being swung around their head, and Cerberus should be able to clean this up. Get this in here, but I don't know if they can quite end here. But they're going to get 3 inhibs, and it's only a matter of time at that point.
And think about how this game feels for Flash. This is a horrible game to play. They can't do anything against the insane range advantage Cerberus has drafted. They got ahead on their Caitlyn, on their Lux, especially. Their Zoe is looking strong as well. And then they have the backup, tanky, bruisery, whatever monster Aatrox is. So Flash really can't do anything here.
I think part of it comes down to like picking this Tom Kent. Like normally Tom Kent is like he's just good, right? You don't need too many excuses to pick Tom. But you needed a bit of range down in the bot lane, I feel. Not necessarily like ranged auto attacks, but you needed like ranged engage. Someone like Rakan, I think, would have been really good, which you actually identified during the draft. And also to again look back at Optimus, it's a melee mid laner. Look how melee focused this team is overall, which is pretty harsh against
they don't
Caitlyn.
have a lot of range.
They don't have ranged engage almost at all.
Yeah, not even just engaged. Their auto attack range is not great either. Slater with 525. Yeah, that's not great for sieging. They run into severe problems against Caitlyn, because Caitlyn can just outrange everyone. And who's supposed to go on the Caitlyn? As he said, the engage is missing. They rely completely on Optimus to accelerate this game and get a big advantage in terms of skirmish.
Yeah, and this is Baron being started here. This is almost Cerberus kind of just sighing to themselves and saying, oh, fine, we'll take Baron. You're not going to let us end without it.
By the way, can I draw your attention to the Caitlyn build? We saw that yesterday, actually, and I was very glad to see this one.
It's good. This is how you build Caitlyn.
This is a very
You just want to hit
Caitlyn.
things really, really hard. Essence Reaver, Infinity Edge, those are your first 2 items. RFC, I mean, that's obvious on Caitlyn, right? The synergy is super obvious. This is a really good Caitlyn.
Yeah,
Sometimes
he went Essence Reaver third, so it was IE into RFC and then into Essence Reaver, but I still like this build because Caitlyn, with her anti-synergy, with attack speed, profits a lot from attack damage, pure attack damage and crit chance, and you already see her critting for 1,300, 1,400.
Hot just throwing himself in, just no care whatsoever. Takes a fair bit of damage, but it won't matter. LL is in ult, basically unkillable. They just have to find their way onto these Nexus turrets. But just to touch on that Caitlyn build, I actually think RFC's second, while I don't necessarily like it in a vacuum, in this game in particular, he was sieging so early that I actually think RFC makes a lot of sense, because obviously it's great that you get a long-range auto attack onto a tower.
I think overall RFC second is very good on Caitlyn. I don't like 2 attack speed items, because that really hinders her mid-game damage output, because Attack speed is just not the best stat for Caitlyn, and you don't have a lot of AD in that case. Meanwhile, we see
Oh, they're going. Woohoo! Crit off the planet! And they don't want to improve their KDs anymore. Cerberus are just happy to pick up a game. That was a dominant performance out of them.
That was not a close victory, bottom tier, eked out a game against the top tier team. This was a domination. This was... Wow, I'm a little bit struck. Where did this Cerberus come from? What did they do with the Cerberus players?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the gates to hell might be unguarded because the real Cerberus is here. We haven't seen them all split. If they're playing like this, they looked really good. Like, ignore for a moment the fact that Flash may have underperformed. We can analyze Flash separately. But Cerberus, they picked a comp. That comp had a plan. They executed that plan excellent.
Yeah, very straightforward comp, and that's what we want to see for bottom tier teams, right? Don't experiment with hard compositions to execute in teamfights. Don't go for assassins. Don't go for scrappy, weird, everything has to go right in order for us to win comps. Just go for very straightforward siege into we have an insurmountable gold lead and can just force everything we want on the map. That was exactly what they did here with the Caitlyn Lux. Really good play out of Cerberus.
Yeah, super good out of them. We're going to have to see Flash massively bounce back in Game 2. Because losing this series is pretty disastrous for their hopes of finishing high up in the playoff bracket. So, and I mean, losing to Cerberus at all is pretty unforgivable for Flash.
Yep. Can't happen. They need to come back in this second game. Imagine them losing 2-0 to Cerberus. They would immediately fall down to 3rd or 4th place. And that would really hurt them in the playoff race. And FTV would be very mad, because FTV has won 5 games, but only 1 series. And Cerberus is now sitting on 3 game wins. If they win a 4th game and 2 series and get ahead of FTV again, FTV has to be very mad with Flash.
Yeah, that's very true. So, moving on to our next order of business, MVP. It's a bit of a tricky one.
I think it's between Pot and...
Yado?
Ronopi?
Yeah, Ron had a good game. I think, for me, it's between 3 people of Pot, Yado, and Ron. He had a really good Zoe game.
That's true.
He was doing a lot.
Dominating
I mean,
lane.
yeah, exactly. He really stomped mid lane. He was actually super active around the map. But, I mean, Ron had a really good game as well, and so did Pot. It's hard to choose, isn't it?
I think I'll vote for Pot in this case.
Alright, well,
he tracked the enemy jungler.
Yeah, he read Yijin like an open book.
Yeah, and Yijin is a good jungler. It's not like Yijin is bottom tier jungler here in the VCS. He's usually a very strong jungler.
Yeah, yeah. With that in mind, I completely agree. Actually,
there were many MVP candidates in this game. Everyone performed. Even LL on the top lane absolutely withstand the pressure, and I think he went deathless in the game as an Aatrox against a top lane focused draft.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, LL didn't really get a chance to shine, but wasn't really needed. It's not like we're looking at it saying he played poorly or anything like that. He just didn't do much because he didn't need to, right? He survived lane, which is what he needed to do, and he came out as a strong Aatrox, and that's all he had to do. Yeah, but I think Pot, just because like Yijin, they may as well not have had Fog of War for Yijin. They knew where he was all the time from Pot.
Yeah, so we'll be back in 4.5 minutes for game 2 to see if Flash can recover, if Cerberus is able to close out another 2-0 series for themselves and go to 2-6.
G'day, everybody. We are back for game 2 here of Cerberus versus Flash. And it is 1-0, as expected, obviously, after the first game. But it's not Team Flash that's up. Cerberus is leading the series. Not something I've been able to say very often. In fact,
Yeah.
only once.
And it wasn't a close game. If you just joined us right now, Cerberus absolutely stomped Flash. They picked the long-range composition with Caitlyn Lux in the bot lane. They played around mid lane a lot. They punished the enemy Kiana. And the bot lane won, obviously, because it's Caitlyn Lux. They got up to, I think, 4k gold lead in the early game. There was one very crucial dragon fight. And the game was just over afterwards because 5 people died. It was a 17-minute ace for Cerberus, and the game ended. I didn't really look at the time. I think it's something like 26 minutes, 27 minutes. So very fast game. Cerberus looking good today. And Yado, your favorite, gets the MVP here. I mean, fine choice, I think.
I think he had a great game. I mean, the KD, surprisingly, KD not that ridiculous. 4-2-5 is not a bad score by any means. It's not, any blowout. So the official
DPM though, that's a very high DPM number for such a short game.
Yeah, that really is. That's pretty ridiculous. Yeah, as I was saying, I mean, I do think in the end, us picking Pot for MVP was pretty good because he just shut down Yijin so hard, and Yijin's a very good jungler.
Yeah, and I have Cerberus finally found a little bit of consistency. At least their roster stays the same now for a few games. LL in the top lane over YT seems to be the preferred choice right now for the coaching staff. Pot and Yado are in. We don't see Knight. And I think Knight even was dropped from Cerberus, if I read the news correctly.
Knight's been released from the contract, yeah.
That's harsh, but I guess it's fair because he didn't look great in the beginning of the season.
No, he looked terrible. So, and I think they brought in a new top laner, and I think you can only have 2, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, they didn't bring in a new one. I'm looking at the transfers. They just got rid of him.
Yeah, they just dropped him completely.
Top laner. I don't know why I said top laner. He's a jungler.
Yeah, maybe to reassure Quad, just giving him the spot, whatever happens, you are our jungler, can be reassuring, right? Because we see teams like TSM struggle a lot with jungle being swapped in and out, and both junglers feeling a little bit weird.
I think that's always a double-edged sword. Yep. I think it depends on the player, because for some people it motivates you, right? To know, hey, I'm not 100% in. I've got to work my ass off to keep this spot. That can make a player really good because, yeah, they got to work real hard and they want to shine. But sometimes it also makes them nervous, and it just depends on the personality. It's obviously just how that works. But we are into the draft here for game 2, and they don't want to see that Zoe again. Don't blame them either.
Irelia Zoe LeBlanc banned from Flash. 3 mid lane bans against Yado. Interesting choices. No Caitlyn ban is a little bit surprising to me.
The Irelia LeBlanc is the same as game 1. Yep. The Zoe is adapted. Sejuani and Karma so far taken out for Cerberus, and the Thresh ban. Okay. I want to see a Lux first pick. I don't like this Jace first pick.
No, I really don't like. Oh my god. I absolutely hated the Jace already for Stark on the players of Spring Split. I thought Stark was not really a very good top laner. I expected him to be a little bit better than Torres, but not that great. I know a lot of old Vietnamese fans like Stark and really don't not share this opinion, but in my opinion, in Spring Split he was not great. And now they gave up the Aatrox and Lux again. So Cerberus off to a great start in draft. 2 of 5 champs they won with already secured for them again.
Absolutely, and Ron P looked so good on that Lux. LL didn't get a chance to shine, as we said, but he certainly didn't get punished or anything like that. He had a good Aatrox game. He just wasn't particularly relevant in the end. Neither was Stark. But this Lux was so destructive. I said, I think you either ban the Lux or first pick it. And they did neither, gave it away. They do get the Silas, obviously a tier 1 jungler, and potentially Optimus back on a more controlling mid laner if he picks up this Corki, which I think would be better for him than Kiana.
Yeah, this draft already looks a lot better. Yijin on one of his strongest champs, in my opinion, on the Silas. Optimus back to control Meiji champ. I mean, you can't really say that Corki is a mage, right? He's an ADC, but he's
He
still,
sort of is a mage. Like, cast, like, in lane, he's a mage, right?
yeah,
To an
yeah.
extent.
He's a mix. He's a mage in the first part of the game and then an ADC later on. But Cerberus just
Yeah.
wants to continue with their successful composition from game one. I'm a little bit surprised they don't go for the Caitlyn here, because right, I think it will get banned out. There's no
Should.
reason not to ban it for Flash.
It should unless they have a counter pick. And I don't think they have a counter pick. Ezreal will get banned out again. They really don't want to go up against Slater's Ez.
It's such a weird
I really want to
ban.
see. I really want to see them ban Caitlyn. Like, Slater can play Kai'Sa. He loves his Kai'Sa, even if I don't love his builds.
Yeah, he actually only won the game against Gum because Gum picked away the Kaiser, and Slater thought, okay, you pick my Kaiser, I go Draven, and he went 18-2 in that game. Highest kill score we had all season for a single player. That was a ridiculous game.
Yeah, that was very silly, I think, out of Gum, though. For those that maybe haven't been watching the VCS as much, Gum don't play ADCs most of the time. They play mage bot lanes because Hugh
Kai'Sa.
is not or Kai'Sa, but I don't think Kai'Sa was a good pick in that script. But they do ban the Caitlyn. Good job, Flash, learning from your mistakes. So what does Cerberus have as a backup? Still plenty of strong ADCs open. Zaya's open. Siva is open. Also, Yumi is open in the support role. She was banned last game.
Yeah, I'd like to see Lucian Yumi on the side of Slater and CBL. I think they have shown great things with Lucian Yumi.
Ooh, hello, Talia.
Oh, another rock mage, not
Yep.
Kiana,
Yeah,
this time, but Talia, the older one.
Yeah, we don't have the Avatar Master of all four elements, but we do have the Earthbender at least, so we're keeping it in the same universe.
Yeah, I mean, at least she's the rock bender, not the wall bender, so I guess she has a real element.
I love that it's just called Wall. And there's the Yumi lock-in. We also saw an Ashe hover, so maybe we get this Ashe.
Oh man, imagine playing against Ashe, Yumi, and Lane. That will be a bad time. That will be a very bad time.
That sounds like a dodge.
Yeah, indeed.
Just take the 3 LP hit instead of 45 minutes of that. No, thank you. And no, it does look like Kai'Sa instead. Slater going to Comfort. I really would have liked to see
Not sure if I've
Ashe,
ever seen Kai'Sa Yumi. That's anti-synergy right there. Usually Kai'Sa wants her melee support that's able to go in. I kind of expect Kai'Sa to bind up with Legion now. Don't know if you can really use Fate's Call on a Yumi. That sounds a little bit ridiculous.
Fate's Call. That's... Wait, what?
Wait, Fate's Call is the name of the ability, no?
No, that's Callista's ult.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I just thought about Callista. Oh man, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you were talking about binding up, and I got completely thrown. The final chapter is Yumi's ult.
No, I thought about Callista. I thought we see Callista Yumi. That would not make any sense. So, yeah, glad we don't see Callista Yumi. That's right. It's Kai'Sa Yumi. It's still a little bit of anti-synergy in my opinion, because Kai'Sa wants more CC in lane. But it's not as bad as Callista Yumi. Callista Yumi would be quite something.
Sounds horrendous. Yeah. That sounds really bad.
Yeah, all those KA ADCs getting mixed up in my head. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it is much better. Kai'Sa Yumi, it's not too bad. I don't think it's the best pairing. I mean, you could have picked Lucian, and I feel like it would have been a little bit better. But then again, Slater really loves Kai'Sa, and there's potential for a really strong late game comp.
Yeah, the late game from Flash is insane.
Well, one thing it kind of depends on is the Kai'Sa build. And my word, do I harp on this, but it actually matters.
Yeah, we have seen Corkis run away with games in the late game anyway, so it might actually not matter if Optimus plays a good Corki game here. On the other side, though, Cerberus, with a very good mid-game focus composition, especially if Yado is able to hit 1 or 2 kills in the early game. Talia's mid-game is no slouch. She's very strong in the mid-game. She has a lot of damage. especially around objectives as well, where she can serve and use her movement speed very well. So I'd like to see a very mid-game focused, try to force fights around dragons, maybe around barons later on for Cerberus' side. And Flash can probably sit back a little bit, scale with double ADC with Salas and Yumi as well. And Jace is a little bit of a bridging pick. He wants to dominate lane. But we've seen the same lane matchup in the first game, and it didn't really look too great for Stark. So he has to step up in this game.
Yeah, he absolutely does. I think it's I want to see some top lane focus here out of Yijin. So hopefully we see that a little bit better. Hopefully Yijin's not as hard read by Pot this time. He is on this Jarvan again, so potential just to be a little bit of a run back.
Very small look at this very interesting statistic. Average game time 28 minutes and 1 seconds for Flash. Flash is one of the fastest teams, very aptly named, and they mostly win their games, so they are actually very good at closing out leads. They are not the strongest early game team in the league, but they are probably the strongest mid game team. And we just saw another game that actually was below that average, so they are still playing true to their nature. Sadly for them, they lost the game. We still, if they get ahead in the early game or even in the mid game, I expect them to be able to perform, set up objectives, and yeah, show us their very good mid game they've shown us before.
Yeah, exactly. We do want to see a bit better out of Flash. We always want to see our top teams in the league perform. It's always a little bit worrying when your potential top teams are faltering because is it just an off day or are they not good? It's hard to say, you know. And I think there might be a little bit of a tech issue here, as normally that's what it means when we go out to player camps. So someone's got to restart the brain machines because that's the only thing that could be broken, right?
I mean, Flash's brain machine, probably,
judging
from game one.
No, I mean, in the end, it does look like the brain machines are just fine because they are heading into game. Gotta say, I really like Talia's animations.
Yeah, I absolutely love Talia as a champion. I tried my hand at her. I'm not great at Talia. She's still a lot of fun.
I tried her when she was a jungler. And when she was so strong that I still won games, but yeah, I wasn't very good at her. And ooh, bit of an invade here. Pot has to flash immediately. That's a big deal. Jungler flash just burned in the first minute.
Yeah, very good invade coming in from Flash. Very creative approach with Yumi joining up with Yijin and Corki to invade on the top side. You would not really expect Yumi to be over there, so good creative approach. A little bit of a slow coming out of the prowling projectile. And the invade is still going. Flash wants to really steal away this red buff.
So, something interesting here. Stark is running phase rush.
Oh.
On Jace.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an older one. We actually saw a lot of phase rush in the spring split, if I remember correctly. And that's mostly for late game, actually. Late game phase rush Jace is very hard to catch, and he can almost function as an ADC if he goes for phase rush, because no one ever gets to him. His side laning is very strong, because he doesn't even have to win the side lane matchup with phase rush. Speaking of not winning side lane matchups.
Yeah, that was rough. A bit unlucky there for Stark. He did check the bush with his Q because he did suspect that maybe there was an Aatrox waiting for him, but just picked the wrong side of the bush, so thought he was safe. He wasn't, and he lost a lot of health there. Has to burn 2 of the corrupting pot charges.
Oh no, Yado should be aware of what's happening here.
Yado gets away. Should be able to get on the surfboard and just get out of here. Yeah, if you try. Good job, mate. Yijin returning to his jungle. It was a buff trade. Both junglers stole away the enemy red buff, so it's even there.
And Pot took red and blue already. Very fast.
He went buff to buff.
Yeah, he went blue
he just
went
red. Straight from
a little bit
buff
faster
to enemy
than Yijin on the clear, which is to be expected, because it's J4 into Salas. Salas early to clear is not great. He needs a little bit of time to really get going in the jungle.
Yeah, one thing that did happen is Yijin stole away Raptors,
Yeah.
which popped him. So he is a camp ahead. But Yado's in a lot of trouble here. Optimus is bearing down on him. The Gatling gun's going. Daka, Daka, Daka. In the end, Yijin's not even going to get a say in this one, quite
Whoa, 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 whoa,
possibly.
whoa.
Oh, whoa, whoa, the turn out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's Talia damage for you.
That was first blood. He got first blood. He
You
came
got
out
first
ahead.
blood? No, I don't think
I
he
think-
got first blood.
Did
I
I
think
misread?
Ignite got Optimus on the
Yeah,
backside.
you are right. Optimus does get that first blood. Yado getting anything out of that was pretty good, though. Well done.
Yeah, well played from
Late-
Yado. Reading the situation very well there. He was dead anyway, so he just turned around. A lot of burst damage. Used his Ignite as well. Interesting choice, by the way. Ignite on the Talia. You don't really have to go TP on Talia, because she can just surf back to lane with 500 movement speed, so she's only at about, I think, 10-15 seconds to get back to lane. And TP takes 4 or 4.5, so it's not that much of a difference.
Yeah, I think this was a little bit of almost arrogance from Optimus, because he has flash here. So once the turn is coming out, he can flash this.
Yeah, he
But
really
just doesn't
underestimated
and
this
ends up
the
dying.
damage. I think he
Yeah.
is not too familiar with the Talia matchup anymore. Talia mid lane is not too common, and yeah, I think he underestimated multiple parts of Talia's kit. Definitely the electrocute. He completely disregarded electrocute damage coming in. He had the chance to flash over the W and
Yeah,
did not use the flash.
Ooh, CB, LL does burn his flash up in the top lane as well. There's a lot of flashes on cooldown still here for Cerberus. Pot has not come back up yet from the level 1 engage. So we want to see Yijin keep making moves around the map. He's been pretty active already. Hasn't gotten any kills or assists, but he sort of locked Yado in there. Yado had to go the way he went because he knew that the Silas was waiting for him. And big CS lead starting to develop up here in the top lane as well. Stark looking a little bit better this game.
Yeah, I think LL traded a lot of CS for lane control. He just tried to get as many AoE spells as possible and probably missed a lot of CS doing that. So at least he gets a good reset timer. Flash Stark, I should say, probably has to TP back to lane while LL can walk. So I guess LL invested a lot of his early gold income into better lane positioning. But Stark actually goes for the normal walk to top lane. And looking at the lane state, I misread the situation a little bit, and he has enough time to catch up with the wave. So not even an advantage with LL for LL.
Yeah, and it is the Executioner's calling coming out first, becoming pretty standard against the Aatrox. Just picking up the first of many swords that Jace will use.
Yeah.
Cuts that healing quite nicely.
Floating around his hammer, because Jace needs a lot of swords to get online.
Exactly. Hammers are overrated. It's all about swords. There's
Looking
the
at
TP
bot
out
lane,
of
it's
Plato.
actually very interesting how bad the bot lane 2v2 has gone for Flash. Usually Slater and CVL probably our strongest bot lane, at least in 2v2. But hold that thought, there might be a gank.
Yeah, potentially, but Ron is hatching that ward. Hopefully it'll be a beautiful baby Lux soon. Slater walking into that a little bit. I'm not sure if he really thought that through,
Yeah, that
but
was foolish from Slater.
in the end, it's only 100 or so damage. Not a huge big deal. Now, Yijin wants to get this Scuttle Crab. Should just be able to walk in and smite it. Nope.
Yeah, no smite available for
didn't
Yijin.
have
I
smite,
anticipated a smite as well, but he didn't have smite. Oh, please go on the bush. Oh no, the pink ward. Maybe we get to name the pink ward this game, because this one is here to stay.
I always love naming wards. We'll have to think about what we go for, but that is definitely going to be a value pink ward, because I don't know when the next time that bush is going to be walked
My
through.
name definitely would be Knight, just for a little bit of tribute to the lost Cerberus player.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm down for that. It's Knight the ward, doing more valuable to Cerberus than he ever was.
I knew what was coming.
As soon as you said it, you knew it was coming. But in the end, it's all right. He was all right. He did things. he lost a few games. But Yado taking a lot of damage here in the mid lane from this Stark roam. Not 100% sure what Stark is doing down here, but he's not really losing anything in top lane, so why not just go smash a shock blast into the enemy mid laner?
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused at how Flash approaches Jace drafts, because you usually want to play around the Jace. What are you picking the Jace for? If the Jace is just 1-1ing against Aatrox and Aatrox gets out of laning phase even, that's not great. Jace will definitely get outscaled in terms of teamfight impact compared to the Aatrox. So please, just invest a few more resources into Stark. 2 games on Jace.
Final chapter comes out here and does some damage, but ultimately not really mattering. And Optimus could be in a little bit of trouble, but no, Valkyrie is pretty strong. My favorite character in Thor Ragnarok.
Okay.
So, I'm just look at Valkyrie. You know, that's what her name was. She was a cool character.
Ah, yeah. Okay, that's true.
Yeah. I like it.
By the way, if you have a little bit of time, I think there's the studio calling in again. I just got information on Kaiser check-ins.
I think we're just look. Kaiser check-ins starting to hurt me. The studio actually quit today, citing
okay. That's unfortunate.
emotional trauma. Yeah, so I'm doing it on my own, but this is a special edition of the everyday Kaiser check-in. It's a very sad edition because once again, I think we have a bad Kaiser build on our hands because there's no tier in that inventory.
And
there should be a tier.
Worse, there's a PTA on Slater as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's always PTA, right? Because if you go Fleet Footwork, then I don't mind the Storm Razor. I actually don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's good either. But at least it's buffing something. I really don't understand Slater looking at this draft. Ooh, wow. Stark forcing that flash there out of LL, but back onto this Kaiser build because it's still everyday Kaiser check-in. You're losing lane. So your early spike isn't going to do much because you're 20 CS down. And you have a Corki on your team. You want to scale. So build the scaling build. My word, Slater. You need to update your build.
Yeah, and Slater has been really slow at
Kaiser.
adapting
Your Kaiser mechanics are great. They're crisp. You need to build better, man. Stop hurting me.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, because Slater has been great on Kaiser, if you just look at the mechanics, as you just said. But his build is actually hurting him a lot. The late game fights do not often go in Flash's favor if he plays Kaiser, just because he doesn't deal any damage. But maybe he goes for the even older Kaiser build, the IE into Rageblade, the full crit Kaiser, as we have another fight erupting in the top lane.
Yeah, Yijin's in some trouble. Talia's on her way. The wall has arrived. Yijin is going to squeak his way out of this one.
What?
Ooh, looking for a bit of a turn. No, everyone's okay. Oh, there goes the Lux ult. Yijin, the fancy footwork. He's footloose.
Wow.
And
they invested everything
to
get him there.
Oh my god, Slater flying forward. In the end, though, it is Ignite that picks up the kill. A little bit unfortunate. Would have loved that one on Slater, but it goes onto the Yuumi instead. Optimus dancing around as well. This is so close here. Optimus, he's got the Ignite. It's still ticking.
Oh. Wow.
Not even close, baby. Wow, that's
one
close
interesting
in the mid lane.
Usually you would say Corki and Talia, they'll just farm and roam, but those two are very keen on fighting, and the fights are very interesting to follow. This time Yado got the better. But bot lane was just a result of
Optimus, you say Yado got the better. What's he doing here? What just happened, Optimus? He TP'd.
Yeah, and flashed as well. Now he doesn't have any summoners. I'm not sure. Probably a ward. By the way, Knight is still alive. Doing way better than the player Knight.
Exactly. Knight, that ward in the blue side jungle that has been not spotted for a very long time. That is Knight. And he's doing great.
Yeah.
That was so
the bot lane fight that resulted into a kill for CBL was really not on easy love. He was not able to do anything there because Slater and CBL were too strong in this situation, too many good summoner spells. So it was more on Ronopi roaming away. Very good capitalization from Flash spot lane, reading the situation, reading the map position, and getting away with a kill. early gold lead
Yeah,
for
also
Flash, already 2k for them.
yeah, maybe also something you could color in. Ron OP running Guardian. I actually don't mind it against a lot of poke, which Yumi and Corki potentially is.
Yeah, I think this is mostly adaptation for the Yumi lane because you never get to proc your aftershock. I personally am not a big fan of the Guardian, especially for the later stages of the game. Obviously, it's better on lane, but you're very squishy on the Lux. And one of Lux's greatest perks right now is her tankiness in the mid game. She can't get caught if she just fires a Q in the general direction of the enemy. Then she gets 100 MR and is just unkillable for a few seconds. This will not be
Yeah,
the case in
especially
this
with the
game,
shield
so
on
this
top.
is a squishy Lux, I should say.
Yeah, we're gonna have to sort of comes down to execution on Ron to not get caught. I mean, in the end, if he doesn't get caught, it doesn't matter. But oh no, the built Stark not getting away there. LL getting a nice kill, very well executed dive, but it could be answered back here. Ron's in a fair bit of trouble. CBL cleaning up another kill. This kitty's got fed. And Easy Love now being hunted down. The ult is pop. That should save him. No Kaiser ult to chase.
Oh, you're still dead.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he
No?
gets away here.
Wow, they don't
Yeah,
want
no, he gets
to
out.
dive. Oh, that's interesting.
Yep.
Thought they could have extended the dive there.
Yep.
But I guess one kill is good enough. And very good Yumi play coming in. Switching between the two players that were his hosts there, going from Slater to Optimus to extend the ult range and get the stun to connect on the Ronopi, or this, not the stun, the root, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
On the
it's
final
a
shot.
snare.
What do you think of Slater's build now?
You know what? I'm down for it.
I like this one.
I'm down for
It's
it.
not as good
Yeah.
as the usual.
See, this is the problem when my studio abandons me. Normally they tell me this is what's coming. They already know. I don't have the script. The studio does. So I didn't know this was happening.
Yeah, I think no one knew because this is a new build or an old build, I guess, but very surprising. He gets a very
I like it a lot.
early Q evolution.
Ooh, here comes the dive in top lane. Sorry to interrupt you here, but LL's in trouble, but does manage to slide away using those Heelys to escape his Feelies. And Optimus is actually the one that goes down in the end.
And they even get the dragon on the other side of the map. Cerberus coming out on top in this play. Very big overextension from Flash. They thought they had the damage to kill LL in time, but LL is very strong. There's a lot of armor already secured.
Ooh, Stark gets caught there by the
Ronopi,
Q,
you have to
but
be careful.
Ronopi super aggro here. You don't have Aftershock, man. That Q hitting doesn't do anything for him, and we see why Aftershock's pretty good.
Exactly. That's why I love the Aftershock on the Lux, because if she doesn't have Aftershock, this is what happens. She just dies very, very quickly. And Ronopi...
See that animation on Stark's Jace there? Hitting the wall. It was like he was playing whack-a-mole.
No, I did not see that one.
It was really funny. Anyone want to go down and slow that one down?
Oh no, Knight!
Oh no!
Knight
Knight's
gets caught by
dead!
CBL.
It's more dead than his career.
I'm not sure about that statement.
I'm not sure about that. I'm pretty sure he'll be picked up by someone. Probably.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe.
He's great. His first showing was not the greatest.
Yeah, but he might still
dropped
have.
by Cerberus again. And to be fair, Pot has been pretty good as a jungler for Cerberus.
Yeah,
Definitely not in contention for best jungler. of the
Oh,
week.
here comes Pot though. We're talking about Pot, and he's going in on Stark. Stark trying his best to fight back while he's in the rage cage. The Lux ult misses, and Stark does manage to get away. But he's not looking good on this Jace.
That was a very uneventful gank. It was just J4 without any damage items trying to... Wait, with... Oh, okay, I looked at the wrong screen. Yeah, he doesn't have any damage items. Just looked at Yijin's itemization. It was very curious what that was. For what Jarvan build I missed, because that would have been a little bit of a silly Jarvan build. But yeah, he's just a tank Jarvan.
His W has the AP scaling, doesn't it? Big shield boy.
Yeah, there was an APJ for support in Spring Split in LCK, so I guess viable, right?
Wait, what? Did I miss that?
Yep, it won. It
That's
won a
news
game.
to me.
It was
Oh my
Spirit,
god.
the jungler from Afrika Freaks, playing
That,
support with APJ4. I think even 2 games or 3 games, and he won a lot of them.
all right. All right. All right. I'll take your word for it. I don't want to believe it, but you
Yeah,
wouldn't
it's not.
lie to me.
It wasn't great, but it was something. There's an AP scaling on E, by the way. If you ever
Ooh.
want, oh,
Oh. Ooh, Yado, you're in a lot of trouble here. Doesn't matter how many rocks. Oh my,
why
what?
is he alive?
That was so bad, Flash. This is terrible. Easy Love is here. The wall has been built. They're in a lot of trouble. Silas takes the worst ult, but he does manage to get the kill.
Look at the bot lane. Look
Wow.
cross map. What's happening down
Oh no.
board? Optimus
Yep.
gets caught.
Yep.
Man, what a
He manages to
mess.
get
The
away.
dives from
That was,
Flash have not been great.
yeah, that was really bad. The fact that Yado lived, and it made a difference in the end.
And look at the
That
gold lead. It's
wall
only
really
1k
cut
now.
off a lot of this game.
Was
Yeah.
2k before, and
Oh,
Cerberus
whoa!
got
Slater
there.
throws himself under tower here, trying to get Ron, but he almost lives. This is 2 kills in the end. Only Yumi going down, but that's actually a shutdown there
Yeah, but it's still,
onto the
once again,
cat.
a showcase why Aftershock is the better rune for the support Lux. Another death that could have been avoided with the better rune choice. He's just too squishy. It's not hard to burst down a Lux with like 1000 HP and almost no resistances.
Yeah, absolutely. You can very much kill that Lux if Ron gets caught. Even Adam dies, and we've seen that a few times here in situations where, yeah, if he'd survived another second or so, which Aftershock would have basically guaranteed, he likely would have lived. So, really bad situation, and
At
in
least
the
one
end,
of the 2
winning
deaths would have been
the
avoided. I think the first one was probably, he was probably too far away from his team, so would have died anyway, probably. But look at this. Yado is here, and Ronopi only dies because he doesn't have any HP. So
Unfortunate. I'm not the best replay to show there. I would have loved to see the initial fight.
yeah, that's true.
Ooh, Optimus looking for a play with the package. Nice ult there by Easy Love. Very good reaction. Doesn't manage to get hit by that one. And Pot throwing himself forward. Good Lux ult as well, just dealing a little bit of damage across the team. Can they actually
Well.
find anything though? No. So many ults being committed here out of Cerberus, and in the end, they only find half of Yejin's health bar. It's not quite worth it, as we have another game without a mountain.
Yeah, I was just going to touch on that because that's very surprising. I really think we are onto something here. VCS quit their subscription to the Mountain Drakes, want to deceive us, want to tell us it's actually RNG based, by the way. I don't really believe
Don't
it.
believe their lies, everyone. There is a conspiracy afoot. Get your tinfoil hats on. The Mountain Drakes will be back.
Yeah, hopefully next game already. But Flash secured the Infernal Drake just off of the botched engage from Cerberus mostly, because all the ults were down for Cerberus. Most of the flashes
Ooh,
as well.
Pot caught out a little bit here. Optimus is on top of him. There's a TP coming, and there's a Slater as well. That's a kill. That's a jungler dead. Baron is alive. There's potential to try and take this. They're a pretty good Baron take team with 2 ADCs, but it's a bit risky. Yejin in the front line, trying to do as much as he can. Had the Jarvan ult as well. Pretty handy there. He's still alive. Optimus, however, is not. He was caught at the front there. Just got 1v1'd out by Easy Love. Stark, you've got to find a way out of this puzzle. And getting Lightbound is not a good start to it, and he's gone. LL procs that Aatrox ult. Is he going to find this bush with Yejin and the cat? He is. He interrupts them.
Oh, wow.
There's the knock-up.
Oh, wow.
Yejin's going to go down.
Oh,
2 for
damage.
1 KFC cat bucket special. That's a triple kill for LL.
Yeah, this game might get spicy again. We thought maybe Flash can run away with this early game lead, but LL with a triple kill, only a 1.5k gold lead. Looking at the scaling, it's still probably in favor of Flash, but Cerberus
Ooh,
close
Slater
again.
getting caught out as well. This is Baron.
Yeah, this is just Baron. Slater, what have you done? Why?
Slater, that was terrible.
Where did he go? Why did he go there? Man, I'm a little bit sad about the outcome of the team fight because I wanted to highlight very good Yumi play, very good awareness. CBL has really impressed me this game on the Yumi. He actually saved Yijin multiple times in the fight, but in the end they still get caught. So
Yeah,
overall,
really
good
not
fight.
CBL's fault. In the
No,
end,
worst feeling
he was.
ever. Playing
Yeah.
Yumi and your host getting caught and you just sitting at 500 HP getting one shot by a Q from LL. Not the greatest feeling.
Really, really bad time. And this is now a 5-0 Aatrox. This is. We were saying last game, LL didn't really do much on the Aatrox because he didn't need to. This
Still look
game,
good.
though, he's hit. Yeah, he looked good, but he didn't have a huge impact because his team just dominated from the bot side. This time, though, he's absolutely activated. He's here to play. We need to see the impact he can have in the team fights on this big Darken boy.
Yeah, and for Flash, we really have to see Slater step up. What was that? Very bad positioning from Slater. Look at this one again.
Yep, Optimus just gets caught.
Oh, it's already.
Stark.
It's too late. We don't see the great CBL plays here. This is not an interesting replay. Like, please show us the beginning of the fight. This is just.
Yeah, this is just LL getting free kills. At least we do get to see the 2-for-1 value bucket.
The E animation for Aatrox still looks absolutely ridiculous.
He's got his Heelys to escape his feelies. I don't know if you have Heelys in Germany. They're like sneakers that you could get. Like I had them when I was a kid, like when I was like 6. They were like sneakers, but they had a wheel on the heel.
I know those.
So you could like slide along. They were really fun when I was like 7. It was great. I'd love a pair now.
I've never used them, but I've seen them.
Yeah, I begged my mum for them. I spent like a month begging my mum, and I got them for my 6th or 7th birthday, and it was so hard.
Looking at the game again, Cerberus now finally at a 2k gold lead. They have the mid-game composition. They got ahead in the mid-game, not really on their terms. It was more Flash throwing away all their lead. And now, with the Baron buff, will they be able to crack the base? This is actually a very important Baron this time for Cerberus, because second Baron is a little bit late to win the game for them. They really need.
Ooh, here comes the engage though, but that Yumi ult is completely wasted by Optimus moving forward with the package. Not very good communication. They will be able to clean up LL. That's actually a really big shutdown. Can they find anything else other than the Rono P kill? Possibly Yado. I'm not sure if you really wanted to punt Chase towards you there. And now you do go down. Slater picks up that kill. This is a little bit of a throw. Easy luck with a really thick play there. Very well done. He's going to go down in response, but he does pick up the kill on Slater at the very least. Pot, you need to get out of there. And he will be able to. That's a really short recall because of Baron.
Man, another fight going the direction we did not anticipate. This time LL absolutely useless on the Aatrox. Gets caught out, gets bursted down. Interesting how the fights swing back and forth this much in one game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really like how Easy Love is playing this Zarya. I think he is. It's one of his best games, and he's playing across the best ADC in the VCS, so very good performance.
Stark. A little bit here by Pot, but I don't know if Pot really wants this fight. He's going to try and at least get the 1-for-1 Stark with a little bit of a safety flash there. But Slater has arrived. Cerberus is in some trouble. Rono P found in the backline. Yado surfing his way in on that wall. I'm not sure what that one was for. Pot is absolutely just running for his life, but Prowling Projectile has a big boy slow attached to it, and Slater cleans him up. Cerberus
falling apart.
It's all right, boys. Cerberus has just dribbled it up to the 3-point line, put it up, and just straight airballed it. It was a great throw, but it didn't score any points.
Yeah, that's true. Flash can't really capitalize on anything here, because no objectives are standing, and the next Baron will be too late for a real capitalization. They don't even invest a whole lot of vision into securing a Baron lead, or a Baron position lead. So in the end, Cerberus get away with a really big mistake. Look at this teamfight again.
Oh, that's such a piss poor bit of communication, but it didn't matter in the end, as LL was so caught out. Ron as well, showing
for that, right? Because it's
just communication.
Yeah.
Both of them were right.
Yeah,
but
both of
together
them were
they
right.
were
Exactly.
wrong.
It was very sad to see. I imagine the Yumi ult fired in the opposite direction. That would have actually been. Oh, look at this
That would
play
have,
first again. Ooh, a stick.
yeah, that
Slater even
was,
tried to avoid this one with a flash.
yep. That was really good out of Easy Love. Unfortunately, it was a bit of a play that was mixed in with a much worse play by Cerberus, as they got caught really badly there. Sort of opened the door back up for Flash. Flash now does have a gold lead. It's a pretty negligible one, but a lead at all, considering how the last 10 minutes or so have gone, is pretty impressive. Oh, Slater with that stealth almost gets away, tries to ult forward to try and at least kill someone and get to his team. Really well done on this Kaiser here. Now it's a bit of a
Oh
split
no!
team fight. Yijin goes in. So much damage being done, and the Lux ult just doesn't do enough there. And in the end,
Cerberus need to
nobody
pull
dies.
themselves.
Oh,
What?
I take that back. Down goes Slater. I didn't even see that.
Where did that come from? I just wanted to harp on Cerberus' mechanical misplays, especially on LL there, but I guess they win the fight because Slater oversteps once again. No flash available. He used the flash
I
early
really
on.
like that both in Discord and on chat, someone, it's actually the same person, said, wow, Slater's a god, because they reacted to the first play, which was godlike, and then he screwed up.
Yeah.
But this is potentially Baron for Cerberus, as the kills have just happened at a better time, and I don't think this can really be contested.
The unit
Slater
is
is so
there.
much of the
Unit is
power.
there.
He is here. Optimus taking so much damage. The smites are going to come in, and it is secured here
What?
for Cerberus. They get their second Baron and 2 kills. Oh no, Flash
Man,
is
this
in
game
some
has
trouble,
really
boy.
devolved into a clown fiesta. This is not a great game
Yep.
of League of Legends, but at least a lot of action is happening, and we get to see
If
many
we
people
had
die.
if we had
They're
cast
taking
of face
turns.
cams, I think we'd both be wearing the big red noses, because this is a little bit of the big top happening here.
Yeah, for sure. It's a little bit too much back and forth. I mean, we like to see a little bit of back and forth just for the hype.
Who has
And Cerberus might just die again here because they
who
overstayed.
has Hextech GLP? I just saw a Hextech fired.
Hextech
Talia?
GLP, Yado has built Hextech GLP.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't really know what you build on Clear, I'll fully admit. But that's interesting, building the GLP without Glacial Augment. Doesn't feel
Usually you
great.
can almost build whatever you want on the champ. A little bit of penetration is very common. Hextech GLP or the Ludens for mana sustain on lane. Hextech GLP obviously better for team fighting in terms of utility. Ludens a little bit more damage. Look at this one again.
Yep.
How does the
Hello.
ADC secure the Baron?
So 900, it was smited to 60, and then it was an auto attack.
Well, Pot didn't even smite.
Yeah,
Pot
that
didn't have a
was.
smite available. They called the Baron without a smite. And
And
wow,
they still got it.
that was
That.
some insane luck from Cerberus. That could have completely
Yeah,
cost them the game there.
I think what's kind of interesting there is I think not having smite on Pot
Actually,
got
helped
them the
yeah.
Baron. Because I think
Oh, man.
Ejin was predicting the enemy jungler's smite, which is what you should do. And he smote it out.
Cerberus wins the series because a flash overestimates them.
Yeah, I think so.
No, it's still not over. It's still very close, and Cerberus has not been able to do anything with their Baron. They really need to crack an inhibitor.
Yeah,
By the way,
absolutely.
there's
We need
Knight
to see
2 in the top lane jungle. Oh, he might get found.
He's
No,
back.
He's still alive. Knight with a resurgence. His career might... Oh, no.
No, he's still alive. He is truly the most stealthy of. You don't even see his map impact.
I mean,
Yeah, I know.
his map impact.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. We don't want
That's
to
what I
talk
was
about
going for.
his
You
map
got
impact.
what I was laying down. There is the Talia wall to make the siege easier. Yijin using the absolute best Silas ult in the game. Throwing out
they
those
still
feathers
don't
that
get
he
the
can't
inhibitor turret.
pull back.
They're struggling so
Yeah.
much with the inhibitor secure. They should have gone for the bot lane inhibitor with Talia ult. That's way easier to deny. But in the end,
Absolutely.
they'll still get the inhibitor turret. It took them way
And
too
the-
long.
Absolutely, big crits coming out of Optimus. He is actually seriously scaled. Yumi ult burnt as well to get him in. Excuse me, LL has actually died completely on the other side of the map, as has Pot. This could be the turn here for Flash that they desperately need. Yado is.
What?
Oh my god! Oh my god, I thought that was Slater for a second. I thought he
Oh
got him mid
no.
ult.
Oh no. He
Oh,
surfed
yeah.
into rocks. That's not a great move.
Oh no. Did
Talia is
he
showing that her ult is in fact the better one. Oh, that
wait?
was
But did he
unfortunate.
get hit by a W
No, he
from
got hit
Talia?
by the
Did he?
E, because he surfed through the
Yeah.
E field. And by
Oh
Qing as well,
right.
I think.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Completely forgot that the E activates. Looking at LL
Yeah.
again, dying for
Yeah.
absolutely no reason in the bot lane.
This is
Look at
a
this.
very high level VCS. So he has Talia ult.
Oh
He
my
did.
god.
He
Oh
did
my.
get hit by the
It's so
W. He
sad.
got knocked off the wall.
No, no, no.
That was.
You get knocked off the wall because of the damage. You get knocked off the wall because of
Oh
the
right.
damage.
Yeah.
And he actually got knocked into even more stones that killed him.
Oh
Oh
my
my. That's so
gosh.
unfortunate.
You got to think about your Silas ults, boys. You
Yeah, I
got to
mean,
have a think.
to be fair, Eugen has not really been great on the Silas in this game. He has stolen way too many worst ults in the game for Silas,
Yeah.
which is obviously
Please stop
Xayah,
stealing
because
Silas ults.
Xayah ult doesn't really do anything for Silas. You don't get the pullback ability, which,
This is
to be fair, is a little bit
an
weird, I
absolute.
think, because
Uh,
you get, if you're cannon, you get the cannon passive, but you don't get the feathers, or you can't utilize the feathers.
I think.
That's a
I
little bit
think the
unfair.
riot. I think the riot statement was they don't want any ult in the game to be useless to Silas, and Talia ult isn't useless because you do still get the untargetable. Sorry, Xayah ult. Sorry, I said Talia. I meant Xayah. Talia's great ult. So you
Not
get
into
the
Talia though,
untargetable.
as we just saw.
Yeah, don't Talia ult at Talia. That's not a great idea.
Yeah, Xayah is pretty useless.
It's very
Xayah
ideal,
really is pretty useless. I think
but at least
best.
it's usable. I think is Riot's logic. I
I
think I remember
really
reading
want to
that.
see in the third game, if we get the third game, not a Talia, I'm sorry, Salas into Kiana. We saw one game yesterday in LEC with Kiana ult from both sides, and it looks ridiculous. Everyone is stunned. It's great.
Oh, that's always fun. Silas, truly one of the most ambitious designs Riot's ever gone for. And
Absolutely
Baron has
love
come
watching
back for his
Salas, I have to
third
say.
try. Yeah, he's fun.
Oh man.
He's had his OP moments and stuff, but Ron has been massively chunked out. And despite the fact that, Cerberus has been winning the last few fights, we have a level 18 Corki who's absolutely scaled. So I don't know how a well executed team fight actually goes. You have to favor Flash.
Yeah, Optimus is super strong right now. If he doesn't get caught, he can
Yep.
just solo win team
Baron
fights.
started here.
This
Or they're
Baron's
locked in the pit, but Baron secured. Oh, Pot. Don't know. Yeah, Pot
that was
just
very
got.
ambitious, a little bit late on the steal. And this game might tip over to Flash once again. It has been back and forth since minute 20, really. Fights going in one direction and then turning 180 degrees to the other direction. So we still have no idea who wins this game, but it's probably Flash.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of who plays better here. Yado taking a lot of damage. Optimus is super deep behind enemy lines, but he does have Private Yumi with him. And in the end, that is so many kills coming in. 3 kills picked up near this Elder Dragon. Oh, the damage out of Optimus is absolutely
Look at those
filthy.
crits.
Bang! That's the ace. Pot obviously died a little bit earlier. He'll be respawning, but this should at least be an in here.
No,
In
this
fact,
is
I
game.
think this is game.
Yeah. 40 seconds on the ADC, 50 seconds on the top laner. Flash can just brute force with the Baron buff. So this is game. Flash tying up the series after a very scrappy, very back and forth game. Flash didn't look too great. I was not too happy with their play. Especially Slater actually disappointed me in a few especially micro errors. But in the end, they get the win. That was the most important part. And now they can look at improving their performance and maybe look to win the series against Cerberus. It is a struggle today, way more than we anticipated, but
Yeah. They need to win this, though. This is super important going into game. Um, this is not Flash at their best. This is Flash looking a bit more like Ghost.
yeah, in the end,
It's
it
the
doesn't
worst
really matter
stuff.
if they still win the series, because they will have a few days time to regroup, to rethink their strategies. The most important part is getting the W in the column there. They could still
Yep.
lose the series though. Cerberus is playing them closely, and I mean, one more team fight in Cerberus is a favor, and we would have seen a 2-0 for Cerberus. So Flash really needs to step up in this third game.
Yep. Absolutely. So I'd like to nominate me and you for MVP for having to watch that. Actually, I take that back. Those games are fun.
Very fun.
We can talk about how it's not good League of Legends, but God, did I have fun. In all seriousness, though.
I think the best moment in the game definitely was the Talia ult into instant
Yeah,
death.
I think
That was
that one might
hilarious.
be going in our library of special plays, up there with the Rise ult to success and Neven's excellent solo Baron.
Yeah, we have had quite some very interesting moments. I don't really feel like it's that egregious a play for Yijin this
No,
time.
but it was funny.
It was very
It wasn't
funny.
actually that bad,
The
but it
other
was
two
really
plays
funny.
were really, really bad. Especially, no, I think both were equally bad, probably. But this
Oh, I
one,
think
Yijin
Neven was
just
worse.
complete. Yeah,
Neven was one of the most mind-boggling plays I've
Neven
ever
was.
seen.
Neven was so. Yeah, I mean, his career ended after the play, so fair enough. The play wasn't good.
Yeah, I mean, he's played since. He did play.
Yeah, as a jungler. Wow.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Everyone gets to
making
play a
a
game as a
comment.
jungler in the VCS.
It's true. But going on, I think we do need to crown our MVP for that game, and I think it's pretty obvious.
Do you think it's
Optimus.
Optimus?
I mean, he's why they won.
Yeah, that's true. I really want to give it over to CBL, but you're right. Optimus had the very good team fights in the end. I think CBL showed as one of the best Yumi performances I've seen so far, especially in the VCS. He's very good on the Yumi, and once again, really showing up. Very good awareness. Uh, if you want to see how to play Yumi in teamfights, just go back to the one teamfight that Cerberus won in the end with the triple kill for LL, because he saved his jungler there with a very good disattachment and got one auto attack off for a big shield, attached again, and then healed immediately to get something like 500 HP on his jungler in a matter of at least half a second or something. Very good play from
You've
CBL.
been pretty strong.
But yeah, I'm fine with giving it to Optimus, because in the end, he was the reason they won the game. You're absolutely right. And
Yep.
locking down his third MVP on the stream. He has not gotten a single MVP in week 3, but now going back to more of a carry position for Flash.
Absolutely. So we are gonna have to see what happens in game 3. Didn't think we'd be going to a game 3 for this one.
That's
A bit
not
more of
really
a. We were looking forward to that second series, as everyone see that's hype, but turns out we've got 2 bangers tonight.
Yeah, I checked the game total coming into today. We are only at 14 games, so we need our 6th game day on Sunday to get to 20 again, and we might just get that today.
We may well. So we'll have to see what happens in just under 5 minutes.
Yeah. See you guys in 4 minutes. Welcome back, everyone, for Game 3 between Flash and Cerberus. That's already more than I would have anticipated to say today. Game 3 between Cerberus and Flash. What do you think, Everyday?
I think we're living in some sort of freaky twilight zone where apparently Cerberus can take it to Flash. These have been close games. Well, close game. Game 1 wasn't close. Cerberus really dominated that. Cerberus was 1 or 2 team fights away from 2-0ing this.
Yeah, actually very close. And Flash, in the end, got away with the victory. Very close game, as you said. And they really have to improve in this third game. I'd like to see a better performance, especially from Stark and Slater. I think they have not integrated Stark yet at all in their system. He's just sitting in the top lane on Jace, not doing a whole lot. His team fighting has been. I mean, it's Jace, right? So team fighting on Jace is. Oh, wow. Wow, that is a
Wow.
surprise. Oh, we saw a
That's
very concerned talk between Slater and Optimus after the second game, and apparently Optimus has kicked out his ADC, and Artemis is back in. He played one series this season, 3 games that they won. So
this
technically
is
better win record than Slater, right?
maybe, but like I think this is an overreaction.
Yeah, it for
Like
sure
Slater
is.
didn't look good in game 2, sure, but I don't think I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a weird substitution, especially because this is another traditional ADC, and usually ADC is actually a position that doesn't really see that many substitutions. Because usually you would like maybe a new mid laner to come in with a different champion pool, maybe a top laner that can play tanks, as opposed to the carry focused top laner. Subbing out your ADC for another ADC player that has the same champion pool is a little bit
Yeah,
weird. That indicates some maybe communication problems. Maybe Slater isn't feeling too great. His second game definitely was not one of his best. He has shown us insane games already. Just cast your mind back to the Draven game.
that was so good. But we are gonna have to see if they change. One thing I really, really want to see Flash change up is don't pick Jace, or if you do, play around it.
Yeah, I'd like to
You
see
have
Stark
to
on
play
on
around.
a tank even. If they abandon
Yeah,
top lane, just pick tank for him. Play
yeah,
Rika
you can be
in the
more.
top lane. Stark is just a better Rika. Like that sounds like an insult, but I actually think he's very good on tanks and mediocre on carries. So just put him on tanks.
Yeah, I mean that makes total sense to me. And they actually ban out Yano Zoe. Don't want to deal with it again. Uh, are we going to see a Lux ban? I
I'd
don't
hope.
think that would be a bad idea
We had two
because I
good
think that
games from
I think
Rono P on
Cerberus
Lux.
will first pick it.
Yeah, definitely. They first picked it in the first game as well, so why wouldn't they
Exactly, they're
first
happy
pick
to
it
do
here?
it. Yep, and CBL's Yumi is gone as well, so he had a really good game. Game was one of the more consistent members of Flash, not participating through. And thank you for banning Lux. Very
Yeah.
happy to see that from
Will we see
Flash.
another Thresh ban from the side of Cerberus? I had no idea
I
where the
hope,
Thresh ban was coming from, because that was a little bit random, but maybe.
yeah, but they banned Thresh over Yumi, which
They
a
got
little bit
punished for
wild.
that. CBL had a great Yumi game.
Yep. And there's the Aatrox ban as well. LL gonna be forced to play something else. What will Cerberus pick up here with the first pick? There's a lot open. We could see Silas, very strong jungler. Yijin didn't
Irelia?
necessarily have the best game. Irelia as well.
Oh
Or they'll pick
my
the
god,
Jace
what's going on with the
away.
Jace priority today?
I
That's
mean,
actually advantageous of Flash. Now they can't pick the Jace. Yeah, I'm a little bit. I
yeah,
already like Team Flash's pick and ban strategy coming into this game. Look at what they banned. They banned the Lux. Ronopi had 2 great Lux games. Yeah, they absolutely dominated on the Zoe in game 1, and LL had 2 great Aatrox games. So, banning away the 3 strongest champs so far for Cerberus this particular series. So, good strategy from
yep,
Team Flash.
I agree. And they pick up Azir for Optimus. something we want to see. We like to see him on control majors. He had a good game on Corki last game, and he has Azir this time. They could have gone for the Corki, but chose not to run that one back. And Artemis will be taking the Lucian down to the bot lane. Haven't seen Lucian so far this series, but we have had some very good performances from Lucians in the VCS.
Yeah, Lucian kind of has crept back into top priority, especially this week in the VCS. We've seen many Lucian-focused drafts, not so much today, as you rightfully said, but he's still a very strong champion here. And Lucian Azir, it's already an intriguing comp, very good bridging from the Lucian. Can buy time for Optimus on Azir to get online. That worked well in the last game as well. I mean, most of the time Cerberus just threw away their advantages, to be fair. But Optimus in the end arrived at big carry items that was able to carry.
Yep, absolutely. And the Irelia will be picked up for the first time in the series. She's been banned both other games, so Yado presumably will be taking that one. Seeing into the Azir, not the best time for Irelia.
She has outplay potential, but if you just look at the consistency in the matchup, it definitely goes over to Azir.
This Braum is confusing.
I mean, they're free to pick whatever they want in the support position. The two highest priority supports are banned out. They want to go for the traditional LeBron lane, and they already have set up a very strong 5v5 team fight composition for Flash here. I'd like to see maybe a lane bully in the top lane to get more bridging into the mid game and a strong skirmishing jungler, because 5v5 is already looking very good, so you don't really need to pick for 5v5 in the last two positions, in my opinion.
Yep.
Renekton J4 maybe, or
they thought about the J4. There was a long hover on the J4 before.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
It will be the jungle bans coming in for Cerberus, banning out that Silas. They don't want to let Yejin have another go on that one. And support ban taking out the Nautilus for Ron and the Thresh again.
But this time inside of Flash.
Yep.
It's very confusing. What is Thresh doing in this? No, Thresh can't do anything against Lucian Braum. I'm super confused.
Nope. It is a very confusing ban. I'm not sure why Thresh has gotten 2 bans in this series. Definitely not a top tier support at the moment.
Oh no.
Olaf.
Oh no, not that again. Oh man.
This is such a lazy pick. You started using that term, and I completely agree with it. Kennen is lazy.
I mean, I have to say I don't hate it that much in this draft, because you have to play against the Jace in the top lane, and so far LL has performed a little bit better than Stark up in the top lane, so you might not want to opt into melee against range to not get abused. But I still hate the Kennen. It's... yeah, I think Nico is open. Nico is the better Kennen. Nico is better than Kennen in every possible state of the game, save from late game flash ult from Kennen. So yeah, just pick Nico. Just pick Nico.
Yep, I agree there. I'm not sure why Nico has not been picked up here. She copped 1 ban, I think, but other than that, she really hasn't been priority at all, which is strange for the VCS. They really love that chameleon. And she's the bot lane does come in. Varus Tahm-Kench. Varus is an interesting pick into Brawl.
Yeah, he struggles a little bit with poke, but I don't anticipate the Comet lethality Varus, so he should be fine anyway.
I just mean you can eat his ult with your shield.
Yeah, that's true. But it's very hard to react to the ult. The ult has a very quick animation, so if CBL is able to mechanically do that reactionary shield against Varus ult, I would be very impressed. I don't really think it's that common to see Braum being able to block Varus ult.
It's pretty tricky.
Yeah, the animation is very short.
True. So looking at this, it's a very interesting situation. As you pointed out, Flash has an excellent 5v5 comp. That cannon only made it better. Yeah, coming in
Almost
after
as
we
good as it would have been with the Nico, by the way.
almost. And I just want to point out something momentous has happened in this series, and it is truly exciting. We've gone 3 games without a triple AP topside.
Yep, that's a great achievement. And we don't even have a triple AD top set either. We now have AD, AP, AD on the side of Cerberus and AP, AD, AP on the side of Flash. So perfect equilibrium between the two teams. Good drafts all around, in my opinion. This season, this series, the play has not been up to standard, maybe in a few games, especially in the second game. But the draft, at least, has been way better than some other series.
Yep, I completely agree. We are going to have to see what goes down in this one. Where do you think our pressure points will be in the early-ish game?
Yeah, the early
It's hard to
game.
game.
I mean, it's probably easier for Flash to play because they don't really have to do a whole lot. They just want to lane. They have good laning champs all around. J4 could look for maybe an early gank on Tahm Kench. That could be successful with Braum stun and Lucian damage early on. Other than that, I don't really see too many big openings. Maybe on the Jace as well. So that's probably
Yeah.
where Heejin is looking. Mid lane will be Farmfest for Optimus anyway. On the other side, from
Yep.
Cerberus, they are looking for topside skirmishes. Ignore bot lane. This is very Tahm Kench. So this is screaming, we don't want to visit bot lane at all. So topside focus drafted for Cerberus. They want to early skirmish. That's a very weird Photoshop. Get out.
That's horrifying. That's not. He looks like he's coming out of Lux.
Oh my god.
I'm not going to be any more specific. That Photoshop is horrifying.
Why?
VCS, please. Look at Lux's wrist as well. I've never noticed that in Earthsplat. It's like she's broken her wrist.
Oh my god. We are blessed
Oh,
with the best images here. Oh my god, what was that?
oh, that's a bad time. But here we are coming in. Artemis is this player that has obviously come in, replacing Slater in the lineup for game 3. Can have to see if he can improve on the performance. Obviously, that's what we want to see.
Yep. And
Also,
to be
early on,
fair to
we
him, he is
had,
not a bad ADC. He has the games he has played, he looked absolutely fine in. I don't think he's
yeah,
as good as Slater. Slater is an absolute star player in this league, and on an on day, he might be the best player in the VCS actually.
yeah.
Maybe
I don't
today
think that's
is too much of an off day for Slater, and they want to play Artemis. I mean, why not?
yeah. Throw something at. They're kind of in a position where you throw everything in. So why not bring out another ADC that might potentially just be having not as much of an off day. So I have to see how he goes down there on this Lucian.
Yeah, Lucian Braum, very comfortable. Bot lane for Artemis and CBL. They have probably played hundreds of games on this particular 2v2 because it's very common. It's common since Lucian has come out, I think, late season 3. So everyone knows this one from both sides. Yado.
Big mistake there out of Yado. Copying power. Has to chug a pot super early.
Yeah, big early trade in the mid lane going in Optimus's favor. I'm not sure what Yado wanted to accomplish there. Very aggressive. Maybe he
Also,
overextended with a Q.
also, look at these runes.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on that as well. But this is another Irelia going PTA. Yesterday, 2 games in a row, Hero went PTA top lane on the Irelia, which is very interesting because she's one of the best Conqueror champs in the game. But PTA
Yeah,
against ranged matchups is an interesting choice. It's for laning mostly because you get the very short trades on the Irelia and can most of the time trade against the ranged champs as well. So I don't hate it in this game. I think it's quite a good adaptation from Aurelia into ranged matchups.
Look at this rumble in the jungle here. Pot taking so much damage, but now Yijin in a lot of trouble. The teleport. This is all over a raptor.
Yeah. Yijin in the end gets the raptor and doesn't have to blow his flash, so yeah, win for him.
Yeah,
But they have to
absolutely.
invest the TP from Artemis. That being said, they are
Very
already
tasty
back in lane, so didn't lose too much in the bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, I'd teleport for chicken. So like, good zinger burger or something. I'd use my TP. It's always worth. But gonna have to see if that matters down in the bot lane. One thing to note, of course, is that Easy Love is not running the TP, so there's no teleport disadvantage to think about. They do have the extra combat summoner,
Which
on
is
the
a
Easy
very,
Love.
yeah, that's a little bit of a curious choice. You don't want combat summoners on the Varus Tamkench lane. You want the utility of the TP. I'm a little bit confused, but hold the thought.
Oh,
Legion.
flashing forward. Yado could be in trouble here. The knockup hits, and Yado is going to go down. First blood given over there by Yijin. Well done there.
Yeah, what a move from Legion. Flash W. I'm not sure if I've ever seen the J4 Flash W forwards to get the
Yep.
slow. Interesting how he played that one
Yep.
out. He knew the dash would come out of Yado and followed up. He even hit his EQ.
Yeah,
Very
it
well
was well
played by
played.
Legion.
Absolutely. And here's the TP being used by Optimus to get back to lane nice and early. Was covered by the jungler in case there was any all-in attempt, but Yado didn't go for anything. Took a bit of a lick, but in the end, he's all right.
Yeah, he's struggling a little bit against Optimus, and now with the kill, Optimus will be accelerated. I have no idea what he's going for. It's only a book in his inventory. He's going Comet, so I would anticipate a attack speed focused build.
Oh, really?
Yeah, most of the time Comet leads to attack speed focus because you get the lane control through Comet. You can either go Comet attack speed or you can go lethal tempo into Ludens for lane focus. I think Ludens Echo without attack speed steroids in your runes is actually a pretty bad choice on
Ooh, speaking of pretty bad things, this is a bad time for Stark. Flash forward there from LL. Will make sure they get the kill. A lot of damage done in return by the tower, but it doesn't matter. Nice kill picked up by the Jace, and that's what you do with Jace. You play around him.
Yep.
You gank for him, get him ahead.
Cerberus able to do what Flash was not able to do in the last two games. This time getting their Jace an early advantage. Very good start for LL. And LL so far today has looked very good. What do you think of this usually substitute top laner for Cerberus? I think he's earned his spot now.
Yeah, I would have to say so. He looks really good. I think he had one quiet-ish performance and one very good performance in game 2, even though they ended up losing. But I mean, it's hard to really see how good he's been because I think there's been misplays out of Flash that you picked Jace 2 games in a row, didn't play around it either time. So he naturally, without the jungler's help, Jace kind of naturally just gets through lane and then falls off and doesn't do anything.
Yeah, that's very true. But LL still has been able to keep pace with the enemy Jace, and now on the Jace himself. Let's see what he's able to do. Already with a very good freeze in the lane, and we see Heejin has to invest time to break the freeze. This is not a gank to kill the Jace. This is just to... I mean, if the Jace overextends, maybe it can be a kill, but it's more to break the freeze here. Give Stark a better position on lane, where he doesn't get caught by every gank.
And they're actually not going to pull the trigger. Yijin wanted to go for the scuttle crab, but Pot was already there. So he does get that one, and the 2 Flash players back off into their own jungle for a little bit.
Yeah, that's a big mistake in my opinion. Stark will not be able to do anything in lane. Look at the positioning. This is a dream scenario for Jace. He just wants to hold the wave there for the next 10 minutes. And Stark needs to really get back into this laning phase, because Cannon, I mean, he scales a little bit better without items compared to the Jace, but it's not great either.
No, it's really, really not. And speaking of items, it is both players going for a bit of a reactive build to who they're up against, Hex Drinker and Seeker's Arm Guard, respectively. I don't mind that. I think Hex Drinker is not the worst decision in the world.
Yeah, I like both
And
items. I think it's very
yeah,
good to go for early resistances. Most of the time, the player that goes early resistances in a carry v carry matchup actually wins the lane. It's a little bit different in melee matchups because they naturally are a little bit more tanky. So sometimes melee matchups need to prioritize the damage to pierce through the enemy resistances. But with both champs being ranged, I really like this one.
yeah, I completely agree. I think it's a good decision out of both players. But we're going to have to see how Stark gets back in this lane, if it will come on the back of Yijin, or they're going to keep not playing around him, which I think would be a pretty big mistake, honestly. I think they need to try and put at least some pressure on top, because where else is Yijin going to go?
Yeah, we talked about Yijin not having to do a whole lot because his lanes can just farm it out. But with Stark falling behind, top lane is in a little bit of danger of falling far behind, especially if there's another successful gank from Pot. I think Cannon will probably not be able to enter lane against Jace if Jace gets another kill on him. So Yijin really needs to fix something there in the top lane matchup.
Yeah, but looking at more bright sparks here for Flash is the mid lane. Optimus is doing very, very well here, has gone out to a 20 CS lead, which is exactly what you want to be seeing. You don't want this Irelia getting a lead if you can avoid it. And that's been very well done by Optimus so far, playing the troll mage and playing it well.
Yep, 20 CS as you said, and very early itemization against dives. So Optimus wants to play it safe, wants to scale into the late game. Look at his boots. He went straight into Ninja Tabai. Very interesting.
I mean, when you're against press the attack Irelia, I think that's a pretty.
Yeah. I mean,
there
Irelia
comes
is a very
the
auto-attack focused champ.
here. Oh, Optimus going in there, hits that Shurima. Ron could be the sacrificial lamb here. They're going to try and go forward onto Easy Love as Stark is TP'd down. They do manage to get him, but there's actually 2 kills in the backside here as Yado teleported in. Oh no, it's all gone wrong as Cerberus come out way ahead. Tahm Kench has altered forward to get the slow, get the munch. Oh no, Flash, it's all gone wrong, son.
How has this turned so horribly for Flash? That was a big surprise. I think they stacked their CC too much in that situation, and in the end they had no CC available anymore, for especially the Irelia coming in. Well, we have to see this fight again. I was not able to spot where the turn came from. I expected Flash to absolutely run over Cerberus. It looked like that in the first few seconds.
Absolutely. It looks like Flash might get this Infernal Drake regardless, and this is 3 games in a row with an Infernal Drake.
Yeah, very hype. We want to see a lot of fights here.
Right. Yeah.
And Ocean will be next, so still no Mountain Drake found today. Maybe we'll get to see a Mountain Drake in the second series. Please, VCS, there's nothing happening on the map. Okay, Riftchild is being taken, but whatever. Show us the replay. What actually happened?
I'd really love it. It looked to me like Easy Love just dealt a lot of damage before he went down.
Okay, Pot with a very good flash, so they invested a lot of resources on
look
Pot.
at that Varus Q.
Varus did a lot of damage, that's very true. And Stark and Artemis committed for 1 kill on LL, while Yado was already cleaning up everyone. I think Flash overestimated their tankiness a lot. Now Artemis gets caught by Ron P. Optimus tries to get the kill back, but to no avail.
Just doesn't manage. Very bad situation here for Flash. But that said, overall, that was 4 kills picked up for Cerberus, but it's only an 800-ish gold lead.
Yeah, they were behind a little bit before the play started.
Yep.
And they lost the Infernal Drake. So in the end, Flash actually quite happy with the outcome. They would have liked more kills on their side, but they still get the priority Drake. The next Drake is not an Infernal, so if Cerberus, even if Cerberus gets the lead now, it's hard for them to get the stats back because there's no Infernal Drake spawning in 5 minutes. This is an advantage Flash holds now for a long time.
I don't think Ocean Drake matters this game.
No.
This is going to be team fight
into the game. Yeah, you want an Ocean Drake at 5 minutes, not at 17. That's really not useful.
Exactly. Rift Herald has been popped up here in the top lane, and Reinforce coming to only the initial charge. LL getting a nice bit of money there. Did get solo. Good boy, Pot. Don't be selfish.
But in the meantime, Artem is able to get one solo plating for himself in the bottom lane, so 2-for-1 trade with the Rift Herald. A little bit of gold still in favor of Cerberus, and they are now sitting at a 1k gold lead, which, looking at their statistics, seems uncommon because they are on average 1.5k behind, but they've actually played a few good early games.
Yeah.
And most of the time they're not able to close out the game from here on. But in the first game today,
Stark flashes forward there to hit the ult and actually works out, even though it looks a bit dodgy. 1-for-1 there. LL has taken a lot of damage, and here comes Optimus. Can the bird do anything? He's going to struggle to get in range unless there's another EQ. Is that? Not sure what Yijin flashed there. That looked very strange. But Yado does go down to the King of Demacia. LL now running back. He should be okay.
Since when is he a king? Isn't he a prince?
Oh, he's the son of the king. He's the son of the king.
I think he's
Diamond 3 is the king.
Oh,
sorry, my law's not perfect.
Yeah, whatever. The law doesn't really matter. I was a little bit confused there, but interesting how the play turned out. Flash getting a lot of gold back. Shutdown went over to Yijin, I think. It shut down on Gragas. Yeah, let's see this one again.
Yeah.
Okay, Flash from Stark was very aggressive, but
got 2 thumbs out of it though.
Yeah, I think they both sides actually overestimated their damage, especially Gragas getting caught in the cannon ult actually hurt him a lot. Where's the flash coming? Wait, where was the flash? Didn't spot the flash.
I'm not sure what Yijin flashed. It almost looked like he flashed on. Which is very interesting. A little
bit of a fat finger there.
Maybe. And we also saw the interaction of Irelia dashing straight through the Azir wall. Of course, not possible back in the day. Would have been absolutely
looks a little bit foreign to me because.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think Azir wall should stop dashes, but.
Yeah, they took away many mechanics from Azir, especially because of pro play, because he's just too strong in pro play, too easy to get away with. Strong laning phase into insane scaling, good control overall. Not a whole lot of weak matchups again. That are viable in pro play.
I don't think they should bring back the whole thing where it's like they keep blocking you. Like you should be able to walk through it after. I think that's a good removal, even though it was hilarious. But I think it should stop dashes if you hit it. Anti-dash tech is too many dashes.
I really liked when the Azir wall was just placed on the backside of the Baron pit, and the enemy Rengar wanted to enter the pit and just couldn't. He was.
Bonk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or blocking Tristana jumps was always funny because visually she was up in the air.
Soldier was once a great champ. Now he's a little bit of a lamer.
Yeah, a little bit. Still has his hype moments. Shurima Shuffle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Super fun to watch.
Shurima Shuffle can be great. Sometimes it's also a little bit of int, so that's also great to watch. Azir still brings cool moments to the game.
Still but I mean, I think that's like
so many mechanics.
Yeah, that's very true. But I mean, I think that's actually kind of a good bit of design. Like the Shurima Shuffle is a bit that is like the double-edged sword. It can win you a fight instantly, but sometimes you just. So I think that's actually good. But oh wow, Artemis doing so much damage there. Might have actually lost the kill because he pulled the trigger on the culling. Yep.
Exactly what I thought as well.
A little bit unfortunate, but does stamp to Yado saying, "Wait, mate, no, you're not good enough to side lane just yet. Not while I'm here. I'm the sheriff of these
as well." Actually, it looked like a good play from Artemis, but in the end, without locking down the kill, the play is actually pretty bad because he flashed and used everything trying to lock down the kill.
Yeah, I didn't see the flash there. That's not good. Had he not flashed, I would have, praised him a lot more. But using the flash, he needed to get the kill.
Yeah. Zooming out a little bit and looking at the overall game state, we're in a very even gold game. Yeah, almost that even actually. Two
Yep.
Drakes in the favor of Flash though, and especially the Infernal Drake will benefit the AP champs a lot. AD, yeah, it's nice to have as well, but especially on AP champs, the Infernal Drake is insanely strong. More AP being built compared to the AD value. And on the other
Yeah, I
side,
think.
Cerberus, yeah, they need to look for a skirmish around Jace again, I think.
Yeah, so I think one of the problems here that some of their gold leaders in the you've got Optimus off to a pretty good lead. He's got a 40 more like 30 CS advantage, which is good. You want your Azir to be doing well, but the rest of your lead is sort of in your Java. That's not where you want it. It's not terrible, like good, your jungler's ahead, but that's not where you want your goal. So it's a bit unfortunate.
I really
What
like
is this?
Legion has gone for
Honest.
Conqueror this game because last time he went for Electrocute, but hold the thought, another play.
Stark gets the ult, does a fair bit of damage, but it's not going to be enough. Coming, this might be a little bit too late. CBL's the one rocking up. Yeah, must have used that unsealed spellbook. So he gets up here. Artemis in so much trouble. Down he goes. CBL's going to get cleaned up as well. Cerberus get 3 kills for basically nothing. This is bad.
Yeah, that was another really big blunder from the substitute ADC for Flash. Don't teleport into an Irelia and a Jace if you don't have Flash available. You just immediately got caught. Good Flash from Pot with the extended
Yijin,
E
you've got to
as
be
well.
careful here. Yijin's just
What?
overstayed. He might go down. Just about whoa, this teleport as well. Coming in, Stark has arrived. I don't think he's going to be able to find much. Tries as hard as he can
No,
to
he
go
doesn't have
forward,
gold available.
but all he does is tickle the Kench. This is going very badly for Flash.
Yeah, so many over aggressive TPs. Why are you teleporting in as Stark without your ult available? Fine, you have your Flash, but what are you doing? You're Cannon. Cannon without
Flash
ult
forward.
is not a champion.
Yeah, pretty
Looking at this
much.
again.
Sad Pikachu.
Said I was actually on Yado from the side of Flash, but Pot is here. Oh, Pot with a very crucial cask. It delays Yijin's entrance into the fight a lot. Then CBL
Yep.
immediately goes out there. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, I think CBL actually had to cover for Artemis. Too late on the E there as well. Will get caught anyway. Yijin, very sad, walks away on the J4. Still holding a
Yep.
lot of the kills, as you
Oh,
rightfully
here he
alluded to.
comes forward though. He's gone on to LL, but he's been knocked out of his own rage cage. But he
Yeah,
just fine there is LL. But Yado makes it a 1-for-1. He's going to try and make it a 2-for-1, but no, the soldiers say, "We stay back for a bit," and it's a 1-for-1. Which isn't really good enough for Flash, I don't think. I think they need more. They need to get back into the.
yeah. That being said, their gold is still relatively even to Cerberus, even though Cerberus looks like the more active team, the team that finds more plays on the game. But Flash scaling is just fine, especially with the Infernal Drake kicking in for them as well. So it's actually not as bad as it looks like if you just look at the kill score and the scores of the individual players. Flash is still in this game.
That is true. This mid tower looking like it should break soon on the side of Flash, which is not great. That opens up so many roam opportunities for Cerberus.
By the way, what do you think of this Varus build? That's
I was going to comment on it, but we had that play up in a lot of trouble here. No, he should be. Oh, never mind. He manages to slip away. Has teammates coming, so he's okay. Yeah, I don't fully understand this Varus build.
yeah, it's a little
Going
bit
for RF.
strange. I mean, at
Yeah.
least he's not going for lethality. We saw the lethality Varus yesterday do absolutely nothing, but no, actually, you won the game. I'm sorry. No way, you did great. Your team drafted the worst composition of all time, but hold the thought, another play might happen, and Optimus
Yep.
gets a very easy kill on LL, overextension from LL, but they had to invest the teleport. Flash doesn't really lose anything with this teleport, but yeah.
No, but I don't think Flash can really get anything from this, except they can get Ron OP Flash, which is nice. That off time Kench. in trade for the Lucian ult. They actually start the Baron here. This is super dangerous. Early, they need to try and force a turn.
Oh,
And,
wow.
I mean, there's the turn. Down goes the jungler. Yado's in the enemy team here getting chunk. Does get split up by Ron OP, trying to buy him some time, but they're in some trouble. Ron goes down. Yado throws himself back in, trying desperately to make a play, but Cerberus is getting absolutely cleaned up here. Easy Love does get a kill back, takes out the jungler. It's 4 for 3. Absolute bloodbath.
Yeah, and it's enough kills for Cerberus that Flash can't go for the instantaneous Baron, which is very good for
Absolutely.
Cerberus. So in the end, Cerberus actually didn't lose too much on this play. It looked horrible for them, and I think Yado and Easylev were the heroes in the fight for Cerberus, delaying and dealing a lot of damage. So in the end, Flash only gets another Ocean Drake. That's not really too valuable for them. And the
Yeah,
map
this
once again
Ocean Drake.
resets. We are dead even in gold. Still a very exciting game. We have no idea who's coming out on top so far. Look at this again. They forced the Baron. Pot tries to approach as the jungler. He has to get the, wow, Stark with a very aggressive ult very early on. So they pick the jungler very quickly. And Ronopi delays the fight with this very good Devour. Yado and Isilaf are still alive, and Isilaf is still full HP. Yado maybe a little bit too assertive here, tries to go in, gets nothing out of it, and Isilaf, luckily for them, kills the jungler. Maybe Flash should have tried to pull back and chase, not utilizing Yijin, but in the end, doesn't really amount to anything for either team, and we're back in a very even game state.
That we are, but CBL a little bit out here. He is no, so he should be just fine. Oh, never mind. As Yado flies forward, Easy Love ends up picking up the kill. And that's a pretty free kill here for Cerberus. This is a back and forth game. Really interesting here how, despite the massive amount of kills, it's still so even. No team is able to break this one open.
No, we are
Truly
a
a
little bit
strong
of a
war.
stalemate because both teams only get single kills and can't really convert them into anything.
Yep, exactly.
Looks similar to the second game, but I think the gameplay overall has been a little bit better. Less
Okay.
individual mistakes, and we still see a lot of kills happening all over the map. I think it's more due to very good proactive plays and not so much players getting caught. So I actually like this game a lot more than the second game, even though
Yep.
it might look similar.
Yeah, I mean, this is a high kill game, but it's less. The kills are less coming from mistakes from players rather they're coming from good plays out of the other team, which is
Exactly.
it's a difference, and it often makes the scoreboard look pretty similar, but it is a pretty marked difference if you're watching the game. So I mean, this is a much higher level of League of Legends than Game 2 for sure, and looks like
Which, to be
Baron
fair,
will
is not
still be
hard to achieve.
yeah, not a high bar, but still, it's good that they got over it. Didn't try and do the best limbo that they could, but Baron is the point of pressure here. We're gonna have to see how both teams approach it.
When was the last time you saw Infinity Edge on Varus being built?
Good question, man. I can't remember. This is a nutty build.
This is a lot of single target damage. He actually right now holds the advantage in terms of single target damage over Lucian, even though Lucian has
Yeah,
gone for crit as well. But Infinity Edge already built for Isilaf here and 50% crit on both sides. Very interesting
yeah,
adaptation. This one much more relying on the old traditional crit Varus builds. Not so much going for the a little bit maybe outdated Rage Blade builds.
yeah. And I mean, I think it's a little bit interesting. Like Runins is so Barrett that not going for it's pretty wild.
Runans, yeah.
Yeah, Hurricane. Yeah.
Yeah, so you cut out there, so we
Oh,
didn't get
sorry.
to understand the word. So Runans, yeah.
Sorry, my apologies. Yeah, Runins Hurricane. Such a good item. Bit wacky not to see it, but in the end, I mean, I think I'm gonna have a hand at thinking about the logic of this build. I think Easy Love realizes that he's going to get dived by Yijin, and or Stark, so he needs to just blow that person up rather than doing AoE across the team. I think that's the logic. Ooh, Yado, that was ugly. Super ugly ult by Yado, but in the end, it's going to be a pretty good bait. Yijin in a bit of trouble here, as is CBL. They've got a lot to deal with on the back line. As Easy Love TP'd in, this is actually a fight of two halves. One side, it's going in the favor of Flash, and I tell a lie. That's so many kills being picked up. Flash just dominate that fight.
Flash, Baron
is
right in front of you.
No. Baron's at the top. Baron's at the top, guys. Where are you going?
What are they doing?
They're picking up this mid. I hope they go to Baron straight after this tower.
Oh, they want the inhibitor, it seems. A little bit.
I mean, they probably get it.
Decision. Okay, mid lane, two mid lane turrets into Baron. If they get the Baron, that's fine. It's a little bit. Yeah, they should still be able to pick up the Baron. Judging of time, look at this again. So Yado, ooh, yeah, that was the ult you were harping on about, and then Yado first looks like. Sorry. It was.
All right, no, you're right. Yeah, it was a messy fight here, but in the end, look at this up the top.
Oh man!
Absolutely terrible time.
Varus dies inside the wall.
Yeah, not the best time there.
I mean, this has now swung in Flash's favor pretty heavily this game. It looked very even for the last few minutes. But right now, Flash sitting on the Baron, two more turrets secured on the mid lane, so now Cerber is definitely on the back foot. I'm really confused at what Isolev is doing with this game. Maybe he wants to go full crit on a Varus. That's an interesting choice. He will probably now go for the Runans you were trying to convince him to build early on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a logic to this build. And I mean, crit on ADC is pretty good. It's just interesting to do it on a Varus.
Yeah, I mean, I like the crit on Varus in the late game. I'm a little confused he went for early crit itemization. Your analysis, I think, is on point. They need the single target damage in the fights. He really does not need to get caught out like he did in the last fight. He needs to stay alive for a long time to get his high attack speed numbers going and carry the fight for Cerberus. My problem with this build right now is that he has too much attack speed. He relies too much on auto-attacking on a game that has a lot of dive. There's a lot of dive.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to stay. Oh, Yado flashes forward there, throws out that, but comes back in, doing the Kennen things, pot in the stopwatch. Just going to buy him a little bit of time, but down he goes. Another kill for Flash. They have Baron still. This is going to be one tower taken, and they're going to try and push this into the inhibitor. This is all beginning to snowball. We have a 6k gold lead for Flash. Baron buff active. They're pushing in. They'll get one in here, but can they turn it into anything? Potentially a Nexus turret goes down here.
If they find another engage here on anyone, they can actually just close out the game.
Yep. If they find a kill, the game ends. Absolutely.
It's very close to the end of the game right now. But Flash wants to play it more conservatively. Maybe go for a mid-lane push.
Optimus doesn't quite get what he wanted. Only throws the Tahm Kench back. It's not going to be good enough. Taking so much damage, but he does manage to get the kill on the Varus. The shields come in as well. He's alive. This is very, very bad here for Cerberus as the second turret is under threat. Yijin keeping everyone off the defense. And this is just going to be game. Flash, despite looking a little bit shaky, will pick up the series win here over Cerberus.
Yeah, a little bit shaky is an understatement, I think. They looked very off today. But they still get away with a victory. It's only Cerberus they were facing. So probably the best time to look shaky, right? Because every other team would probably have punished you harder. Cerberus stomped them in game 1. And Flash still wins the series 2-1. They still go to 6-2 in terms of series score. So everything's alright for Flash. It looked very scary, especially in game 2. In the end, they still win the series.
Yep, in the end, a win is a win.
I mean...
And they walk away getting it in the standings, which is matters, right?
Yeah, It matters, but they lost one game, which is bad for their game score. It's Loki. If Loki is able to win 2-0 later on today against Gum, which is not too likely, looking at Gum's performance and Loki's performance as well. But if they were to win 2-0, I think Loki would hold sole position of first place over Flash, judging from game score. So Flash, not with the greatest game today, but they now have the weekend and a little bit of the week as well to learn, to get back together, to integrate Stark, most importantly, because he didn't look
Yeah.
great today.
Yeah, we absolutely need to see Stark brought into the fold a lot more. But in the end, they do pick up the series win, and I know I've said it before, but a win's win, and that's really important for their standings.
Yeah, the most important statement. Stark immediately getting interviewed. I think he has a lot of followers in the VCS scene, and
Popular
many fans still thinking he is a very good, great top laner. I'm a little bit more skeptical. I think he's fallen off a little bit, but maybe he can get back to form.
Yep. Maybe Flash, if they have a little bit more time, see how they go. So, game 3, who is your vote for MVP?
What actually happened in this game?
A lot.
Yeah, way too much.
It was a bloody one.
No one
I'm
of the bot
thinking,
laners.
I'm thinking Yejin. He did a lot on Jarvan.
Yeah, he had a few blunders as well, but I really liked his first gank. I think his early game was very good.
Yeah.
Optimus, also a solid choice, I think, on the Azir. Looked quite strong
Yeah,
on the
that's
mid
true.
lane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
either
either
of them.
Legion or Optimus is probably the right choice here. I'm fine with
Yeah.
giving it over to Legion. I think his J4 play was very good in the early game.
Yep. Okay. Let's lock that in then.
So he's
I think
now
that's
tied
fair.
for first place as well, locking down his 5th MVP, tied with Zorn and Hero for first place. Slater
The
falling
hero.
behind a little bit. His own teammate now getting ahead of him. Slater sits
Well,
at
yeah. When
4.
you get subbed out, it's hard to keep up, isn't it?
That is very true.
Yep.
And now we have to get prepared for the second series of the day. Gum against Loki, the highlight of the week maybe. We had Gum against Flash on Thursday. That was already a banger. Gum actually lost the series to Flash. To our surprise, we predicted Gum to win that one. And they sub Zeros back in. Zeros is in for today, probably. We don't actually know that for sure, but it's very probable
Yeah,
that
but
Zeros will play again.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot to say about this matchup in terms of implications for the split. It's going to be, it's a battle of the Titans a little bit. We need to see if Gum can right the cart after a little bit of a stumble against Flash this week. Hopefully they can.
Yeah, it would be very important for Gum to win that best of 3 because they are now right now sitting at 4 and 3. Flash and DBL at 6 and 2, and Loki right now at 5 and 2 as well. So if Loki wins, they are at 6 and 2, 2 series ahead of Gum, QG, and EVOS all tied at 4 and 4. Optimus gets another
Yep.
MVP. That's absolutely fair. He played a great game on Azir.
Yep.
But yeah, Gum needs to win this next series to really propel themselves into a good position for playoffs to get a little bit of a lead on QG and EVOS as well. Because if they lose, they will be tied with EVOS and QG at 4 and 4, not even in the playoffs. I mean, tied for 4th, but only one of the 3 can enter playoffs.
Of course, exactly. So we're gonna have to see how that goes. I'm pretty hyped for this. Both teams have a pretty fun play style. Hopefully, we get another 3-game series out of this one. We're gonna have to see what goes down in probably about 20 minutes ish.
Yep. Or maybe the VCS extends it a little bit longer. Most of the time, if this first series lasts this long, we get a little bit more a break,
Yeah,
maybe
normally.
25 minutes, but it should be,
Maybe
it should
half an
appear
hour.
on screen shortly. Yeah, it's actually 30 minutes, so thank you all for joining us for the first series of the day and the last series of week 4. We'll be back in 30 minutes for Gum against Loki.